We are Squawking Dead, a podcast pulverizing episodes of the Walking Dead universe. Sometimes we give you news, sometimes we make you laugh, but most times we go deep. Today's episode, we're discussing Fear the Walking Dead's 14th episode of Season 6, entitled Mother. John Glover, Mother, Blood, Mother.
Mother.
And
Mother.
Obviously Alicia, we got some Dakota. We got no Morgan saying Dakota and Alicia.
So I got some pretty heavy Norman Bates vibes in the beginning of the episode. Mama's boy, mother, all of that. And then we see mother. And I'm like, oh yeah, totally. I'm going to say something that I know Sharon's going to agree with me on. Alicia's makeup was so good this episode. They made her look so tired. You could just see the exhaustion in her face, even the way she delivered her lines. It was like she was having trouble even just getting the words out.
For people who don't know, Rachel has a makeup background. You know, she has an effects artist background, but she's also a cosmetologist. She knows this stuff. Is there anything that you could point out that you thought technically was pretty cool? Like something that they did with her makeup that in particular that made it stand out?
Yeah, this might sound really weird to most people, but anyone who does makeup, it's going to make total sense. The color that they picked was really good. I've seen in other shows and movies where they just like try to slap on some like red underneath the eyes to make them look tired, and it's like, oh yeah, some red eyeliner, yeah.
That's a shortcut, yeah.
It is. It's a cop out and it's a shortcut, and they didn't do that this time. I mean, the color that they picked for her eyes looked like tired and sunken in. They weren't purpley, so they didn't look like bruises or anything. I mean, it looked natural. It really looked like Alicia Debnam Carey hadn't slept for a month.
Those BTS photos, though, too, like, didn't help matters either, because it looked like, oh, she was going method. Oh, I haven't slept in days. Do you know what I mean? Like that. She's like, I'm constantly reclining. Which is not fair, because she looks too good for that. It's like, hi, I'm just tired.
Right.
With and then giving you like the Betty Boop eyes, like,
her gorgeous smoky eye.
Do you even know what you're doing to 60% of the men and 40% of the women?
At least 40%.
So, just so everybody knows, I'm not putting the reaction videos. I hadn't put the reaction video at the beginning of the last episode. I'm not going to put it in this episode as well, but if you had seen the reaction video that I made to this episode, you'll see I did at least 3 times when Dakota says I had to, or like he was in my way, or no one understands that. Like I was like, that sucking in of breath represents a lot of things. It represents, God, that's sick. 2, that's like, part of me does feel like, wow, that is some sort of head trick that was pulled on you. She even mentions this in this episode, like, I never had what you're describing. You want to say to Alicia's point, yeah, she did offer you a chance. But the problem is, if you don't have a reference point, what do you know what you're looking at, even if you're looking at it, right? Like sometimes somebody shows you an orange in a painting full of fruit that you've never eaten before. And you're like, that's an orange, and you're pointing generally in the area of the fruit. And then when somebody shows you the picture again, it's like, that's the orange, right? It's like, no, you're pointing to grapes, you fucking dummy. Like, so if you don't know what a proper relationship looks like, sometimes you have to touch the fire just to know that fire burns. That's what that sound is. It's like, it's a combination of a lot of things. And then obviously the overwhelming part of that is, motherfucker, I can't do anything about it. Alicia certainly has proven she cannot do anything about it.
Here's what I have to say to not knowing what's right in front of you. Alicia offered a better way, but you're saying Dakota wouldn't recognize it because she's never seen it. I can agree with that. I think it's pretty clear that Dakota has no idea what's right, what's wrong, but I don't know enough about Dakota to feel sympathetic for her. I don't know what she's been through. I don't know her story. I don't know what her childhood was like. The only thing I have to judge her on is what I have seen. And what I have seen is a teenager who pretty much does whatever the hell she wants and has no consequences to her actions. Oh, my sister mom locked me up and wouldn't let me out. Okay, my mom did that on a regular basis when I was when I was a teenager. I didn't kill anybody.
Well, you weren't in a zombie apocalypse too, told, here's the plateau. You can't leave the plateau. There's lots of dangerous things. And another thing, like I recently thought about, this is like when you try to remember that Sherry's was violated and all that. There's like another thing that I remember is that like she literally is the only kid in a world of shitty adults. The primary shitty adult being her mother, like seeing the worst example in what you find out later is your mother, which makes it, I think, in a weird way worse. Like when you find out that the worst person in the world was your mother, and not your sister, but your mother, the person who's supposed to be the prime example. And yet I saw once in this episode, and it's really like there's so many little things, and this is just one of them that I'm gonna touch on right now. Even though I said that just now, there's that one part where Cole is got the shotgun up to the what was we thought was his mother, Teddy's mother's face, corpse face. And she's like, she steps in, she goes, Teddy? Not necessarily because she's trying to get on Teddy's side, although I think that's the case. But mother, that's his mother. That's my mother. I think you said this on the episode just after the door, which was called
Things Left to Do.
At the end, Ginny dies. Dakota gets in. We saw in the captions, no. There's that other part that's like, no matter how bad your mom is, that's your mom. Only you get to kill her. This is going to be a big thing that we're going to talk about in this episode, is that the drama of the gifted child is the trap that you can never escape, and that is your mother's approval. Your mother's approval or your parents' approval, even though you say it doesn't mean shit to you, the fact that you're saying that is only to escape it or try to escape that. And we've mentioned this on the show before. You either become more grandiose in order to get approval from others, which is a reflection of you wanting approval from your parents. So you become grandiose. You try to get the good grades. You try to do everything right. You know, you become charming. You become a performer. You come to entertain people, or you become depressed. You're like, I'll never get the love. So well, who cares? And then you start to get sneaky. Like, oh, maybe I'll steal the love by doing sneaky things. Oh, well, cheat on the test to get all the good grades, or you know, I'll pretend like I go to sleep and then I'll go party because I want to fool their ass. Like we talked about, this is the big one, is that when you fool authority in order to get their approval, like, whoa, I'm a good boy. But that's just depression. That's you saying, I'm never gonna get the love. I might as well pretend. You know, I might as well pretend like I'm doing everything right, and then I'll do whatever I want. Fuck you for putting the pressure on. You're blaming your parents for the thing that's inherent in your nature. You want their approval, but you feel like you're never gonna get it, so you act out. Or you become grandiose and you do all the right things. And then you put that pressure on yourself. And these are the two extremes.
Negative attention from your parents is still attention. For kids who don't get attention at all, they will act out, because even getting yelled at means they're paying attention to me.
Yeah, but the principle is true, is that whatever you decide to become, or your brain decides to act on, it's all in the name of you trying to get approval from your parents. And I feel like I need to apologize to both you and the audience and everybody. Like, when I try to verbalize why I don't want Dakota to die, it's not just because she's a kid. I'm not the best at always expressing myself. Really, I'm not. I talk a lot, and I bullshit a lot. And sometimes I go, mama. So like you kind of get the impression of what I'm trying to say, but sometimes I don't verbalize it. Part of that is recognizing that in an ocean of corrupt adults, her mother being the worst, it's hard to judge her in some senses, but then also trying to fight for some sort of freedom in order to find out what a good relationship is supposed to be like. When I see a child that was deprived of what could have been a bare minimum of a good upbringing, like maybe she doesn't know that part of that upbringing was to protect her. Like, okay, well, I'm protecting you from walkers, you ungrateful piece of shit. But, you know, to a kid, they don't know that. Talk to any parent, you, anybody else. They don't appreciate what they have. They're not going to appreciate it until they make it to like 30 years old. Like, Mom, I want to just thank you for putting food in my belly. Like,
till they have kids and they're going through the same shit we are. And then they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Or even like the moment they have to take responsibility for themselves, right? Like any responsibility. Oh, I have to hold a paper route. Or like, I don't know. I'm just thinking, oh, what are we in the 70s? Or like, no, the second they have to like make money and then to pay for the things that they want rather than rely on you, or okay, thinking about renting an apartment and then realizing that's not going to happen without money, a roadmap to whatever it is you want to do in life. And then let's say you have a girlfriend, that's an obstacle too. Like, oh, someday I'm going to need to afford a ring and all these things. But then that it finally dawns on you what you've been given all this time is like, oh yeah, roof over my head, soft pillow under my head, food in my belly. Even if it's not even a lot, like you're like, at least I had that. So tell a kid who's been living in the zombie apocalypse among no other kids, among adults primarily, to appreciate what she has. And meanwhile, she's watching shitty people do shitty things. And, you know, monkey see, monkey do in some senses, but in other senses is like, I can't live like this anymore. All of that feeling, like, and there's more obviously that I can't quite express, but like all of that goes in the like, oh, what do I don't know what to do about this. It sucks. Like she's like a walking tornado. Like everywhere she goes, she is fucking shit up. And I can see it in her face, like, I just want to do right. Knocks over a bunch of things. Like she's like the drunk that stumbles into your party and ruins it.
See, I don't think she wants to do right. She wants to do whatever she wants, and she doesn't want anybody to tell her not to. And guess who's doing that for her? Teddy.
Okay, so you're pointing out what she says she wants versus what she wants to do.
I'm not 100% convinced because, again, we haven't seen it. We're only taking Dakota's word that her life was so terrible. Really? Is there an example of what was so terrible? Because I didn't see anything terrible done to her other than Ginny trying to keep her in the house.
You're right about one thing, is that we don't know the drama and the details with regards to specifically to Ginny and Dakota necessarily. And this is the trick, though. This is the trick that they are trying to pull on us.
Even pre-apocalypse, we have no idea what the upbringing was like.
Well, yeah. What I'm thinking is all the show has ever shown us, and on purpose, is, and particularly in The Key, Dakota's just going, well, I don't know. I'm just Dakota. I'm just walking around here with my shoulders up like, because the show wants you to see that. Meanwhile, you know that she was the one who killed Cameron. There's what you see and what you know to be true. I'm having a hard time reconciling those things because what have we been finding ourselves saying lately? Seeing is believing. There's a part of you when your mind sees something that's so complex and nuanced, it wants to start pointing fingers because I have no time for this. Like, so of course, hashtag Dakota, hashtag fuck Dakota. And that's something the writer should take into account.
If this were real life, it'd be different.
Well, that's where I'm living right now. Is like, this is why it's so, but this is why I love it, is because I get to live here in pain and misery. And I get to stew in these juices and enjoy being in the hot tub with all this shit in it. Like, I'm like Bugs Bunny in the cannibal pot, you know, and I'm stewing with all the carrots and the little parsnips and turnips that they put in the pot. I'm like, yeah, this is right. This is right. But I know eventually the cannibals are going to want to eat me at some point. And so I have to get out at some point. Yeah. So that's where I'm living right now. I'm enjoying it while it lasts. But at some point, a resolution has to be made.
I watch it from a viewer point of view. You know, I'm watching a show. If this were real life, obviously Dakota would need years of therapy. I mean, people aren't just going to kill her in the real world. You get a child like that help. Obviously, but we're not living in the real world. This is the zombie apocalypse. We don't have any therapists. Kill the bitch.
Who kills the bitch?
She's not getting any better. Charlie kills her. Charlie's gonna kill her.
Where's Charlie? In the next episode? No.
In the next episode. Or the last episode.
I have to make a claim. I know that I said to you in private, obviously, and some of you others who I talked to about this. I'm like, God, she can't be playing a long con, blah, 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 because this happens. She's so convincing. She pulls a gun on Charlie. But that's, honestly, after watching this obsessively so many times, I'm really starting to think, and there's some spots where you start to see that I think she's long conning it. And you guys are going to be upset with me because that would mean we have to entertain the world in which Dakota is just trying to save the day. And listen, you might get what you want because she may die in the pursuit.
Yeah.
That's how committed she is. Yeah, so that's
fine with me.
I'm trying to give you the silver lining up front so you can possibly hear the rest of it.
Yeah, Sharon and I had almost the same exact conversation. We both said, yeah, for sure. Maybe it's a long con. Personally, I hope it's not. I don't think it is, and I hope it's not. She's finally getting the attention that she's always wanted, so I do think she's drinking the Kool-Aid too. However, if I'm wrong and this is a long con, fine, cool, save the day. It still doesn't make up for what you did. Sorry.
You see this on many shows, right? Sometimes it makes sense to get rid of complicated characters. That are so messy in narrative. Like, okay, they've done this. Oh, like Merle. Let's just say Merle. Even though he was on his upswing, for the most part, dying for certain causes, for his brother, for this peace, for whatever it is going to be, his future or his brother's future is going to be. Mm-hmm. Like, still complicated. Like, he's done shitty things. He is kind of a shitty person. So it's hard. It's hard to kind of wrestle with a world in which this guy can continue to exist. It's the same thing with Negan to a certain extent. How long can you possibly keep somebody that's so complicated and so nuanced in this world? And maybe in some respects with TWD, the fact that he's still in it makes it interesting, makes people upset enough, some people upset enough to be like, oh, I want that motherfucker to die, but also like, I don't want that motherfucker to die because there's something about somebody that's so complicated that walks around potentially causing chaos, maybe going back to the way he was. You want a little of that chaos, that little like question mark, like what's going to happen next? Is he going to punch her in the face? Is he not?
At least in Negan's case, he was held responsible. He did serve punishment. There was some sort of consequence for what he did. That hasn't happened for other people. Right.
And this is kind of my point. Like, it makes sense that
I still don't like him, though.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things you could say about Negan, right? Like you could say, I like that he's on the show, but I don't like him as a person, right? You could say that.
I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
And this is what I said in that Reddit Dean post, Reddit Dean Morgan post. What I said to the Redditor was, yeah, I don't like what he did to Spencer. This is to the Spencer question. What he did was not justified. It was murder, cold-blooded. I get why he did it. Right? I understood it, but it was still cold-blooded murder. Like, I get why he did it according to him and his point of view and trying to understand the character. But it was still a bad thing. Like, it was still like, even if you didn't like Spencer, it's still murder. Like, you don't get to kill people because you don't like them. I mean, in with the armchair, if you're an armchair murderer, you can do whatever you want.
But Negan killed Spencer because he would have been a threat. Negan killed Spencer for the same reason the CRM took out the campus colony. They would have been a threat.
Right. And that's but that's scary, right? That's like but who else will they think of as a threat? Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is the point, sort of. Like campus colony I don't get. Sometimes like, okay, you get it, but you don't want to get it. Like it's too much. It's too much to wrap your head around. It's like, who are you? Most of the world is dead. Who are you proving it to?
Because they're thriving, they should be executed. Okay.
Right. It's not even to show other people. It's really just to say, nah, just us. We're the light. You're not.
Yeah. We don't want you getting bigger than us.
Yeah. But that wasn't Negan's reasoning to kill Spencer. Was like, don't you guys get the same idea? That's now we're making an example of like, you're useless to me, and I'm going to show you other people that like when you try to be a useless weasel, see, like at least Gregory gets shit done. Gregory knows how to motivate people. You are just trying to save your own skin. Nobody here respects you. At least at Hilltop, everybody respected Gregory enough to follow the rules.
Did they, or did they respect Jesus?
But that's the thing. When you are a first mover, when you are the guy this is always the Hilltop rule. There's always the guy in charge, and then there's the real guy in charge. And the real guy in charge really got things done. The second Jesus took on an authority figure role, he shit the bed. He kept going off, fucking Aaron and fighting Aaron, whatever he does with Aaron.
Having foreplay sessions.
Yeah, exactly.
With Aaron.
And who was running it? Tara.
Tara at the time. Exactly. Yeah, because Maggie was with Georgie.
That's the Hilltop leader rule. That's how it works. But anyway, if it works, it works. That's Negan's thing. I don't give a shit who runs it as long as I get half your shit. That's it. Anyway, so the point being...
Have we even talked about Mother yet?
Yeah. We do whatever we want here. Like what? You want us to talk about the episode? Okay. My point is I think Virginia is in it for the long con. She's doing just like Victor. She's
Dakota. See, you don't think that's played out? You said Virginia.
I meant Dakota.
Right? You don't think that storyline's been played out?
Well,
the long con.
I don't think so. There is a part of me that is kind of like, well, it might as well be that she's falling in with them, because it does go back to my point.
That's where I'm at.
The first point I was trying to make when it comes to parental approval, like now she's an orphan, now she's a ward of the state. Who is my mother if not my mother, right? I thought maybe Alicia could be that, but she clearly doesn't want me. And even if she did want me, I would just trick her into thinking, whatever. She doesn't get me also, so I'm just gonna trick her into being a good daughter. No. And then you talk about Teddy. Well, Teddy's pretty charming. He's pretty convincing. He seems pretty smart. In fact, like, Dakota's looking at him all day, and she's like looking at what he's able to do with Cole, detect from Cole and anticipate every move. Yeah, I could see that. Like, so it might as well be, right? But then there's a part of me that's kind of like, with certain key spots where I think Dakota is really long conning it. And Teddy sees it too. Why does Teddy tell Dakota to wait outside when he's showing Alicia around? Because where is he actually taking her?
Well, he's taking Alicia to the
holding?
vault. Yeah, the vault. The reason I think Teddy told Dakota to wait, he wants Dakota to feel a certain way. He wants to show Alicia a little bit more attention right now and create jealousy in Dakota. This is a tactic.
Answer. Like Riley.
It's a tactic. He's giving Alicia the attention that he knows Dakota wants, so she's going to get more jealous, and she's going to, kind of like what you said earlier, want to prove herself even more. Like, look at me. That's what he's doing.
Look, I was thinking he was doing that because, but that's a monster of an answer. That's a beast of an answer. I love it. I was thinking just like, okay, Mom, can I tell you my answer? I thought no, F-. No.
F minus.
I thought it was just because, like, okay, if I keep her outside, she's not going to interfere or be a problem. Because maybe she won't understand why I'm putting Alicia in a vault, or maybe I don't trust her all the way. Like, even though you see acts of fealty, at one point during the live watch, I'm like, is this one of those Teddy ain't no dummy kind of situations? Because everything he's doing, everything he's done throughout this episode was purposeful, and like, holy shit, walking between the raindrops, just can't do wrong. He's got such swag. There's a part of me, obviously, that's like, fuck this guy, take this guy out. But then there's another part of me that's like, I'm seriously impressed. I'm just super impressed. I cannot help it. Part of me actually kind of wants him to win in a weird way. Like, I think he deserves it. I think, if there's an award for just smartest man in the room, Teddy. How? Yeah. Right. Remember what we said about conditions? Sometimes the conditions are just right so that obviously we were talking about why couples that love each other so much break up. But listen, it could apply to serial killers too. If the conditions are just right, just the freeway is open. Take the open road, man. You got this.
Love and serial killers. That should be a show.
See, that's your documentary.
Yes.
I can't hear love and serial killers. What? No, and that's the title. Huh? I can't hear about love and serial killers, and then and then what? Huh? Question mark, exclamation point.
Yeah. If I'm being totally honest, we've talked a lot about who we are in the apocalypse, right? If I'm being totally honest, I would probably drink the Kool-Aid. The shit he's saying is making sense, and they have, food. I'd be in there, working with the chickens and making salads. Hell yeah, sign me up for kitchen duty.
In some ways, I don't hate me for saying this, but like if I just put your face on top of Dakota's, because you're a pretty tough gal with the shotgun. Listen, don't think about Dakota's past and what she did. I'm just saying right in that moment with the shotgun, and like I said, oh, it's a toy shotgun, but like I could see Rachel doing that. Like, where do you want her, boss? Like, just, mouthing off like, what? I'm a real ender. I was going to say Riley, but they're like, no, you're not dumb. Like, you're not a true believer. You're like a person Riley, of action.
Unless he turns out to be a double agent, like I think.
Do you really think, though? Do you?
I do. I do still.
Oh, okay.
I do still. I was expecting an episode that was going to paint Riley in a really bad light, because we needed something that just squashed any idea that he was on our side. And this was it. This was that episode. So I was ready for it. My opinion of Riley has not changed. What
you're saying is you wanted that definitive, like, oh, yeah, no, he's not with anybody else. So
yeah, that's what I was expecting.
But that's not how you're supposed to find it. You're supposed to find evidence to prove your theory. A negative does not make a proof make. Because now you're still going off of suspicion. Like, okay, maybe.
I'm thinking more like the showrunners. Like how would we throw our viewers for a loop? Well, we're gonna make it look like Riley is really on Teddy's side.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna shove a gun in Alicia's face.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna shove a gun in Alicia's face. He's gonna, we're gonna make the viewers think that Riley really wants to kill Alicia, and that's what we saw. So, to me, I'm just more convinced that Riley is working against Teddy in some way.
I think I'd be more on board for that if you included just one extra like pretend, even if it's pretend bit. Like, okay, let me throw something off the top of my head. Like, okay, if you said that he really wants Alicia out of the way, like he personally, let's say he's working for somebody else, or like, let's say it's CRM, right? Let's just say CRM, right? Just because it's easier, because it's something we know. Oh, he really does want to kill Alicia because Alicia is getting in the way of him being the guy.
His plan.
Right. And him being the trusted one and stuff. Like, do you know? But you're not saying that, so I'm not on board. I was looking for the evidence that he was working on behalf of somebody else or himself, or like, do you know what I mean? Like against Teddy. I didn't see it. All I saw was him being super devoted and almost like a child with Teddy. Like, I'm a good boy. And then
when he grabs his beans.
And then he grabs his Frankenbeans. That, which is weird, by the way, because did you see the reaction video? I was like, literally like, oh, what is he going to do? Grab his balls, I was about to say. And then like he did it. And part of me loves that, because it's kind of like, it's like they get me. It's like they get me. They're in my head. No, wait, it gets better though. Because then literally I talked over John Glover when he was saying this line. It was like, this is what I learned from the row. And like, of course I go back and I watch it. It's like, yeah, you pick up a few things from death. I'm like, holy shit balls. like, what is going on here? But like, but it goes to like what I was initially saying about what Chambliss and Goldberg were saying about how it goes to like Teddy's childlike nature, right? This guy is just a kid who never quite grew up. I kind of want to root out some of the other evidence so that we can move on to a different point, because we can talk a lot about Dakota, no joke. But just with respect to the idea that maybe she's a sleeper, maybe she's in it for the long con. It's possible. Even I at first said no. I'm like, no, she pissed me off. This is the thing that always gets me, and this is something that I feel like sometimes when we're in it, we forget, because this is what happens to us. We get so pissed off. 3 times I went like that, right? And then like, okay, I take a day or two. We took 2 days to kind of review, 2 more days to review everything and to kind of gather our strength and our evidence and stuff like that. And then I came back, I'm like, okay, this, in spite of what I felt in the moment, I'm seeing evidence here that when Cole's about to shoot Teddy's mother, quote unquote, she's like, do you want me to step? It's your mother. It's like my mother. You don't want her to get hurt, or, that sort of thing. Zoe Colletti, when she's talking about behind the scenes for Dakota, she says she has a mountain to climb when it comes to trying to make up for things with Alicia. She doesn't even allude to her not climbing that mountain or refusing to climb that mountain, even after this episode's over, because they show these behind the scenes after the episode's over. This has got me thinking she's still trying to climb the mountain. Okay, but that you can probably explain. Look, Zoe Colletti, she's 20-shit-year-old. Maybe she didn't explain it quite right. Maybe she didn't include that maybe she's not climbing the mountain. Maybe she's given up on it. I don't know. But from what it sounds like who could blame Dakota for making it look like she's joining, or, like, oh, of course they're going to lead you down this garden path. Anyway, I'm not convinced. I'm just saying I'm seeing hints. And sometimes the show likes to swing us heavily down one way and then swing us heavily back another way. Mm-hmm. And there's a big theory that will sew all this up very nicely, hopefully. I'm hoping to God that I explained this right enough, because I thought of this just before bed. I'm like, oh my God. Because this season's all been about parallels, about the end is the beginning. Obviously, we're trying to show the same scenario here with 2 characters, and then the same scenario again here with another 2 characters, or the same characters with different people. One in particular that I like very much. I'm going backwards from the end. When Alicia finally reaches Victor and says, the beach club is in Galveston, blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. Dakota, in the same breath, just after, says, oh, it's Victor. As you heard earlier from Cole, he's just going to try to go the furthest away as fast as he can. She makes sure to use the same exact words Cole uses, because she sees Teddy. She sees that he's very, very clever, very observant, very careful to pick up on all the hints so that he can make a clever Teddy determination of what's going on here. She knows Teddy's no dummy. I think she's thinking a few steps ahead. The exact same words. Victor's going to go as far away as possible. Cole knows it. Cole obviously knew the gang beforehand. Why would he lie? Cole's obviously a very pissed off individual. Of course Victor's like that. That was my strongest bit of evidence, by the way.
That was probably the one and only time I actually agreed with Dakota in this episode. Her take on Victor. Yeah. He probably would try and hightail it as fast as he can.
Not to say that's what she thinks, but I feel like that she's just saying, oh, don't worry about Victor. Let's assume that she wants to be the long con kind of person trying to save the day. Of course she's going to say that. She wants Victor to save the day in a way. Like, she needs all the help that she can get. She's a little piece of shit. She knows it too.
Yeah. If she's playing the long game.
Like Charlie.
I see what you're saying. If she's playing the long con. I don't
right.
personally think she is. I think she's just a little shit. But yeah, if she is playing a long con, that would be something you'd want to put out there. Like, oh, don't worry about Victor. He's just out for himself.
Just like Cole said earlier, because she's using the same words.
Sure,
like,
sure.
Yeah, he'd want to get as far away as possible. I don't blame him.
I don't know if Teddy was necessarily listening during that scene, because he was supposed to be looking for a signal.
He's listening to everything.
But actually, what I took away from that scene wasn't even what Dakota said. It was what Alicia said when she heard Strand on the radio. The first thing she says, "Can I trust you?" That's a good question, Alicia. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Start with that one.
It almost feels redundant, too. Because if you have to ask the question,
then obviously you already know the answer.
Yeah, but we already know. We knew even before the episode came up that in the sneak peeks to the next episode, you see Victor and Morgan and all these people just outside the sub. So we know that Alicia can trust Victor. So then what does that say about what Dakota does? Dakota knew enough about Victor and knew that Victor initially wanted to bring her back to Virginia. Dakota has some goods on Victor, on what kind of person he is. The car ride towards Ed Gaines' house, right? That we're getting ambushed and then still wanting to bring her back to lot. So like, I think she gets an idea of the kind of person that Victor is, the kind of friends he has, and how much he does maybe love his friends, but is also just like Victor, trying to play the long con, trying to damage things from the inside. Because he's open about what his plans are. Remember when he's talking to when he's talking to Alicia, and they have that Mexican standoff, and like they're talking about this stuff in front of Dakota, like, oh, I'm just right here, I'm just trying to trying to escape my sister. They're like, okay. So take all of that into account when Dakota says, "Oh, it's just Victor. He's trying to get away as far as possible. Oh, he's just a piece of shit." Like, nah, I don't think so. It's not a throwaway thing she does. It can't, so this is like the biggest piece of evidence that I have. I don't want to believe it either. I want to believe that. I want to believe that she's a piece of shit. I want it to be over. I want to stop having these frustrating feelings. Listen, I'm a cameo. We're very stubborn people.
See, I would at this point, and Sharon knows what I'm going to say because she's going to say the same thing. I think we both would like to see her just go full bad, fully lean into this cult.
I'm just saying that too. Do you remember what you were saying before? I just like my TV shows to be simple, just so I know where I stand and I know who to root for. No, this is Fear the Walking Dead, bitch.
You don't get that here.
It's not going to happen. You watched season 4, Charlie, and you were like, it's simple. Yeah, fuck Charlie, right? And now it's not so simple, right?
No.
If spaghetti were simple... I'm still in the nuanced camp. I'm still like, okay, I'm still trying to find my way. You know me. It's all about the story. Having said that, well, okay, now you're fucked, Dave. Because if it's all about story and not about personal entanglements with certain characters or who dies, who lives, now you're like, okay, what makes sense? It doesn't matter how I feel about a thing. Now, what makes sense? And what would make me feel shitty is if all of this were leading to right wrongs with favorites. No, I don't care about that. This is the Walking Dead universe, people. This is you're not supposed to get what you want. Things are supposed to go wrong and things are supposed to fall apart, or at least expect it to in some form or fashion. This is not fucking Frozen. You don't have to let it go. No, sometimes people carry grudges all throughout the seasons. It's like,
yeah.
But what would make me angry is if the writers pulled back from what they were trying to accomplish, what they were trying to actually make us feel, even if it's anger, even if it's frustration. If they pulled back, I'd be like, what was all this for, right? Go all ham. I'm not saying Dakota should go all ham. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, no, keep us on this line as long as humanly fucking possible. Make us crazy. Make us lose our fucking mind.
Dude, I've been crazy for a month. I need some clarity here. I need someone to just set me right again. I've been crazy. I have been here. I'm like at the edge of sanity right now.
It's like asking your husband to put out. It's like, can you fuck me already? Come on, man. It's like, it's been weeks. Ow.
That's never a problem in this house.
Whoops. Sorry, no. Evelyn.
Every week you're like, okay, all right, okay, come on. And then you get to the end of the episode and you're like, fuck, no.
Why are we going in this direction?
Why am I doing this to myself? I need something good to happen.
I'm making assumptions here, but there's going to be such a long-term gain out of all of this. And that's the thing. You're too busy looking at the one thing. And I think I said this before. You're too busy looking at or focusing or hyper-focusing on the one thing that frustrates you the most. You're missing all these other things. When that season's finally over and you get to rewatch the whole thing again, you're like,
yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're trying to do. Okay. I'll go as far as to say this much. Let's say you watch the whole thing over again and you'll say they didn't quite pull off what they were trying to accomplish, but you can appreciate it. You'd be like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get what they're trying to do here. I appreciate the narrative they were trying to construct and build up. And like, even if they couldn't pull it off quite right, they've gone so much further than seasons 4 and 5 combined. And to the point where they've used season 4 and 5 in order to accomplish that goal. So I'm okay. And I will be okay once I get to watch the season. And I never watch the season over again, but I will this time.
It's so funny you said that.
I will.
Just a few weeks ago, I told Charity, I'm like, I can't wait for this season to be over with just so I can go back and watch it again, knowing I actually get an ending.
Because sometimes the details are fuzzy, but the details are going to matter.
Yeah.
In order to get the whole breadth of what they're trying to do. Because obviously, it's all pieces of a puzzle.
Yeah. Watching these episodes back to back is going to be awesome. I'm excited to binge this season.
I probably still won't have time. Just to spite everybody. Oh, you want to join this watch party? No, Dave. No, Dave has got to do a thing. Why are you referring to yourself in the third person? Dave is tired. Dave is busy. Dave is checked out. I keep referring to her in my notes as Dakota is the breaker of the loop, of the pattern. Why do I say that? Because I have a theory about who this woman is that he picks up. In the newspaper clippings, they never did find the body of Teddy's last victim. We know that John planted the evidence, but we don't have definitive proof that Teddy actually killed the last person at all. Okay. What if this person that he found, he buried himself? What if this person was just like Alicia, part of his plan? That's why he refers to her as mother. He doesn't say he lied. He said, I showed you the truth. She was the mother. She was mother. What does it mean? Not his literal mother. He's referring to Alicia just like mother, right? You are the mother of humanity. You are the beginning. You're Gaia. You're going to guide our people through this. That person that he picked up from that mausoleum, I guess it was an outdoor mausoleum or whatever. I don't know what it's called. And maybe I'm wrong. That was the previous Alicia from 35 years ago. Obviously, she didn't work out.
30 years ago, he didn't have a nuke to kill all these people.
Another newspaper clipping says he was caught trying to...
Oh, on the military base, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What was he trying to do?
Do they keep nukes on military bases?
I don't fucking know, but you get the idea.
I thought they'd be kept in a little bit
starting
more
to add up.
secure area, but...
Well, everybody seems to know, even up to the point of the apocalypse, what this guy was thinking. Like, they have the goods on him. He's been there for 30 years. These COs, wardens come and go. They all get the profiles on every single... Because, like, there's not that many people in death row. And they're going to be these installments that you see every day, and you're going to have to interact with them every day. Right. So you have to anticipate what they're going to do next, right? So, like, oh, you're still spewing the shit that you're still eating the shit that you're spewing, right? Like, this is why I think he's trying to say, I didn't lie to you. She was the mother. She was my mother. She was the mother for what I was trying to plan and do until that man stopped me. But I guess I just had to be patient. So okay,
yeah.
It makes sense, though.
It does.
Teddy doesn't...
It does, because otherwise...
Teddy doesn't seem to lie, in a sense.
I was also thinking, well, your theory kind of answers the question I had. I'm thinking, okay, so once we find out it's not actually his mom, I thought, it was a good thing that that there was a woman in that thing that you opened. Like, what if it had been a man? So he knew. He had to have known who was in there. Yeah.
All the better.
Yeah. Yep.
It was so frustrating until everything kind of came into focus. Because why were all the victims women?
Well, I mean,
he was looking for the perfect candidate. He was looking for somebody that was like his mother, taken too early, obviously by his hand, while he was at mortician school.
And she found his journals, and then
right, because he was like, said. Oh, everything's sick.
Disturbed.
Disturbed was more the word.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
Very, very generous of his loving mother, right? I mean, he could have. You're fucking crazy.
He is crazy. Like this to me, this just shows you how crazy he is too. That he has this reverence for his mother the way he does, even though she thought the way she did about him. And Alicia's doing the same thing, right? Like, she's totally disgusted by him, but that like just turns him on more. Like, the more you resist me, the more I'm gonna make you the mother.
Well, you're bringing two specific things up right now that I desperately want to talk about, because they're the two main things that I've wanted to talk about this whole time. One is that what we're trying to touch on before, the idea of the drama of the gifted child, aka egotistic narcissism, right? As a result of us trying to gain favor with our parents, or act in life as if we're trying to gain favor from our parents, aka, but also our family, friends, etc., to varying degrees, we want their approval. We can't help it, but more than anybody, we want approval from our parents. Teddy at some point checked out. And he even says as much. He says, I'm never going to get the love from my mother. She's right. The thing that makes him really smart, in my opinion, is that he knows he's so in touch with the idea of this specific idea of the love I have for my mother, or the reverence I have for my mother, means a lot to me. Most people, or at least most people these days, walk around thinking, I don't care. You're such a fucking lot. But you say you don't care, but you do. At least acknowledge it, and then you can work around it, work with it, or try to have a life where you can address these feelings or have a life with your mother and your parents and the rest of the people around you. Because if you can't, that has a reflection of how you see yourself. And how does Teddy see himself? He sees himself as wrong. Because when his mother says, "You're disturbed," is what she said, and then he believed it. He believed it. He went to jail 30 years, believing all the things he believes. Sure, he can still believe all the things that he believes, but know in his heart that I'm bad. And he acts in this world too as if he is bad. You know what? I may always be bad because that's what my mother left me with. And in a sense, that's kind of sad too, right? Like knowing that you're bad, walking through life. Look, fine. Let me get that out of the way. Maybe I'm impressed with Teddy. Whatever. Okay, let's keep going.
Are you sure you haven't watched the opening minutes yet?
I haven't. I haven't, and I won't.
Sounds like you have.
I won't. I haven't. I really haven't. But he says it in his episode. He says it all over. By the end of it, he's like, I am the end. I know what my job is to do. He says, even people like me, even I am the one that is going to be purged in this. He says, while they're taking out walkers near the end, just before Cole bites it, he says, I'm going to miss this. He says, I'm going to miss killing these things. Because he knows. He's like, you know, my number's up. I know who I am. My mother told me. And this is like just yet another thing that it's like borderline spooky beta shit. Borderline, because he's so smart. He's so smart and yet so childlike. And it's, again, circumstances that enable him to be the smartest person in the room. Like, it's so fucking fucked up. It's so fucked up. I don't know. Sorry. I'm going to stop now. I thought he was an egotist. I thought he was going to be, I want people to praise me. I'm going to be the one. Like, no, it was never about that.
Yeah, I mean, until he started talking about, like, his end and, like, and he even says, like, right at the end, you know, I'm the end, so I can't be the beginning. That's you. You're the beginning.
You said something to the effect of every time Alicia says something, it almost turns him on, right? Here's the thing. He wants Alicia to be exactly who she is. He says, and you questioning me, and it's so refreshing. Not like Riley, fucking disappointment. Something I said in my reaction video was like, he doesn't want Riley. Riley doesn't think for himself. Riley lives for Teddy.
Riley's a man.
Riley, all he does is drink the...
Riley's a man. Not a woman. He's a man, not a woman.
You miss Sandra. Oh, that's also true. Yes, and okay, that's, you know what, you bring up a good point. I was gonna joke around and say, "Are you Miss Sandrist?"
No, no.
God, what are you? You a man hater? I'm just
I think
kidding. No,
Teddy's
you're right
looking
though.
for a woman.
You're right.
He's looking for a woman.
To be the mother, to be Gaia, more than anything else, right? And maybe there's a little bit of that, like, sexual, even though Freud, by the way, has been debunked, but Freud talks about like the, wanting to, be with somebody that's like your mother, that sort of thing.
The Oedipus complex.
Yeah, every bit of who you are. Oh, it's because your mother did this, or it's not just wanting to be with somebody like your mother. It's your relationship with your mother. Oh, it's because your mother did this and that. Anyway, I think it's more than just that, though. Teddy, from the very beginning, every time Alicia did herself, got in his face, said, I don't think you want to know the answer. He's like, no. You don't even, a couple times in this episode, he goes like, you don't even know what I'm setting out to do. You don't know what I'm trying to do. That's exactly the answer I wanted. I wanted you to keep fighting me. I need you to keep fighting me. That's why you're like my mother. My mother knew. She may have had some compassion for me, but she knew right from wrong. And I think getting to know Madison through, and this is going to sound ancillary, but getting to know Madison through her daughter made it that much, seal the deal that much more. Seeing how, your mother saved Cole and all his people. And yet the moment things started to go south, they turned bad. Well, they should kill him.
You know what we do to fix that, Alicia? We get rid of him.
We get rid of him.
I wanted to hate Teddy so much, but this episode just kind of made me love Teddy more.
He's just so funny.
He's so funny.
Oh my god. And it's not as though he's so comical about it in the process, but it's so, I mean, if you're not in the moment and you're not Alicia, like, of course you can appreciate it. All he's trying to do is push Alicia's buttons. He almost wants her, he wants her to fail. He wants her to fail, almost. Because, kill him! Just kill him! But he doesn't want her to kill him. He wants her to do exactly the opposite of what he's saying. This whole show, he's saying exactly what he wants her to do. Yeah, do the opposite. That's what I want you to do. I want you to do the exact opposite of what I'm telling you to do. I want you to not believe me. I want you to not think that every person is not worth saving. I want you to think, even to the point where, like, he says, up to the line where he says where she says finally, okay, you don't have to kill everybody, but sometimes with some people, they're just a little too far gone. Maybe that guy. And that's where he got her. That's where he got her.
Smile on his face when she says that too. Ugh.
Like he's just trying to stifle it just a little bit, just enough to keep us guessing, right? Because all the way until the end, when he finally says, "Yeah, well, I don't want you. I don't want you to do exactly what I want you to do. I want you to do what you're the beginning." Yeah, of course. She was always going to be the hero, and that's what I wanted to talk about next. Because if you want to talk about parallels, you're talking about John Dory, both senior and junior. This guy's telling her, you're going to be the hero. You're the hero of this story. Oh, I'm not going to do what you want me to do. You're doing it already by saying you're not going to do what you want me to do. I'm obviously the bad guy. I know I'm the bad guy. You literally have no choice. Unless you do something so catastrophically evil, and killing me is not going to do it. Unless you press the nuke yourself, I will not believe you. You are the hero of this story. This makes me a little worried because sometimes you and me both sometimes have this feeling or inclination at the very least. Sometimes when somebody says you are something, you want to prove them wrong. Just on the face of him being such an
Depends on
asshole
what they're saying I am.
that you want to prove him wrong. Yeah, of course. It's the inclination to do the exact opposite. Fuck you, I'm not exactly who you think I am, even though you're probably right.
You don't know me.
But that bit that sometimes it's strong, sometimes it's weak, sometimes you know the situation enough to be like, fuck you, but you're right, but fuck you. Or sometimes, and this happens, you will go out of your way to punch that person in the face or whatever it's going to be, like show them that they're wrong, even though they're right anyway. But you'll still just fight tooth and nail, double down just to say you're wrong because I hate you. And I'm worried about that Alicia because we've seen that Alicia in some tiny iterations. In some, like, I'ma murder you, Mel. I'ma finish you, Walker Ennis. And I'm gonna get you, Naomi Laura June. No matter what. Even if you weren't responsible for the stadium going down, you were there. You were with them. That's all I can think about. You were just with them. You smelled like them. You're dead. You're dead to me. Until what happened? Until Morgan got in the way. I did not stop your brother. I'm certainly gonna stop you. Parallels, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. But here's the thing: I went back to starting to think, what happened to the first mother? What happened there?
His actual mother?
Well, no, the first Alicia.
Oh,
You know, the one that they picked up from the. So I was just trying to think of like what happened there. Did she disappoint him? Did she die of old age? What ended up happening? Maybe they found her in the end. I don't think they must not have. Maybe she changed her name and moved away. I don't know.
I'm guessing he killed her and put her in there. That's why he knew where she was. I assumed he put her there. Maybe he's like, hide here, I'll be right back. And then he gets arrested and goes away.
And she never came back.
And she just died in the tomb.
Teddy talks about his mother, how his mother discovers the journals, says he's crazy, gonna take you to protective services, right? You're disturbed. And he kills her, right? Alicia's about to do the same thing. She's like, Cola's not the only one that I'm... that deserves to die right now that I know your plans. Now, had Dakota not stepped in, what would have happened? One could say, okay, Alicia would have killed Teddy. Maybe. We don't know. But it's very possible that Teddy would have done, again, patterns. Teddy would have done the same thing he did to his mother. Teddy would have killed Alicia. It's like, you're against me now. After I've just let you in, you're the beginning. The pattern would have repeated. Probably, maybe with the same, the first Alicia, maybe with his mother again. The patterns repeat. Had Dakota not stepped in at that moment to stop Alicia, again, she broke the pattern that might have repeated a third time. Mother, replacement mother,
Alicia had the gun on Teddy when Dakota cocked the...
That's right.
The shotgun on her. So how was Teddy gonna kill Alicia in that position? How's Teddy gonna kill Alicia when she's got a gun pointed at him?
Listen, I don't know how he gets out of half the things he's been able to get out of
barely kill a walker. Barely.
He's like, this is fun. It's not to say that he can't. Like, no, I don't disagree with you, right? I don't disagree with you. I think he would have found a way to get Alicia if he wanted to, for real. He just doesn't seem prone to stopping. Riley would have gotten her with all those people around her anyway. So had Dakota not stepped in and broke the pattern, just like Alicia does in the beginning of this episode. Like, Alicia, this is so clever. But it's the smallest, dumbest thing. Even though I made fun of it. Like, you stopped eating your beans. And I go, But like, that was what he was looking for. He was like, stop doing what we tell you. Stop doing what we tell you. And then the music will, and then the thing will stop looping. Do one thing differently. That's how he was able to come in and say, this is why I chose you. That was his first sign. It's like, okay, she's not willing to play along. Everybody else seems to like the beans. They keep eating the beans. They're a follower. They're a Riley. Okay, fine, cool. Anyway, but going back to that moment, going on history. And this episode gave us so much about patterns, repeating. Oh, you're just like mother. You find me disturbed. Only this time he wants her to be disturbed. But at the same time, he also doesn't want him to be dead by her and run away. He wants to keep her in a holding cell, trapped there until this thing is done so that she can just be who she's supposed to be. Like, be herself and save all these people and be the mother that the world needs after such a thing.
He doesn't want people like him to be part of the new world. It sounds like he actually wants the new world to be a good and better place. He wants it filled with people like Alicia, with hope. We've seen the Ender army, but there are just the Ender community too, like the kitchen people, like people who just live there. In my honest opinion, first of all, they might not have any idea what Teddy's up to. They might not have any clue he's planning on killing everyone topside. He might just have them all convinced that it's gonna happen. Not that he's gonna make it happen, but that it'll happen.
Sharon says they just work on the Death Star.
Yeah. But more exactly. To that, they might not know what he's planning.
Well, what did we say before? Information control.
All they know is this person has provided them a place to live safely. Just work hard, make food, contribute, and you have a safe place to live.
What you're referring to is, I think it's like 2 times that Dakota asks him, do they know? Because she kind of asks him in this episode, I think it was, do they know what you're trying to do? I think, if I'm not mistaken, right? It feels like she says it a couple times. I don't know if it's in this episode, obviously, but she does definitely say it in the next episode. And he's kind of evasive. Oh, they know they're living in she does say it in this episode. She says, oh, they know they're living in a nice place, a better place than they were before. Something to that effect.
Yes, right before they walk into the hotel.
And then she goes a little harder in the paint. No, you don't understand. Do they know what you're going to end up doing? And he says something vague like, they just know that good things are coming.
Yeah.
I don't know. But which also goes to this childlike approach to the world. Because one of the things that you said that I wanted to latch onto was he does want to affect change. He wants to be the change he wants to see in the world. Even if that means part of doing that is to commit malice.
Doing the wrong thing for the right reasons.
Ooh, that gross reflection of John Dory. Oh, both
Dories.
John Dory. And this is going to be the clincher, I think, for Dakota in trying to understand herself. If we're in fact either way, one way or the other, this is like the Camus question, right? This is the nihilist's dilemma. You've read Albert Camus, right? The Stranger. The idea is once you know who you are, you embrace it because you only have one life to live. Even if it means you're the villain, you're the villain. If it means you're the antagonist, you're the antagonist. You lean in. If you're the good guy, just be real and be the good guy and do what you're supposed to do. You only get one life, and after that, it's over. So this is Dakota's dilemma. This is Dakota's dilemma part 2. Is in trying to get to know Teddy. She is trying to see a reflection of herself in him because what you see in Teddy is the same philosophy that it doesn't really matter. I'm trying to affect change in the world, and if it means I need to be this in order to affect that change, just like Dakota, if I need to be this person to get the thing that I want, then I'm going to be this person come hell or high water because that's all that matters. This is psychopath. And it suddenly fucking occurred to me that, like, in a sense, Dakota does this weird thing where, on the one hand, she'll say, I really need to make up for this. The people at the dam are suffering. They think they know what's going on, but they don't. Things are worse with them than you know. She does express this genuine sense of they're walking around thinking that they have all the information, but we're here right now and they don't. And it's so much worse than they even know. And they're also walking around pretending like everything's going to be okay, like hopeful, optimistic, we'll rise above this. But I'm sitting here looking at them, and I know just from my time at Lawton, that's not how this works. I know what it's like to make everybody else feel like they know which way is up, when really I know which, right? Isn't that the irony? Is that, like, even if these people are great and they're not the people at Lawton, but it's still bad when you try to pretend, everybody tries to pretend like they know which way is up and they really don't. And she's concerned. She's seeing that. She's expressing that to Alicia. This is what gives me, I have chills right now because I hate this feeling, this complicated fucking feeling. It's annoying.
Dakota doesn't get to me that much. Everything she says goes in one ear and out the other. I don't believe a word she says. I don't think she's genuine. I think it's all to her own benefit.
Listen, I don't blame you for doing what I do. I don't blame you at all. I am frustrated. My blood pressure's up. I have goosebumps. My nipples are hard. What is going on? Okay. I'm like, I don't know if I'm lactating or passing gas. I don't know what's going on. What end is talking right now? Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is, let's go to the next part where I say, look, after seeing this clear concern, I get it. I know I've been here before. Dakota's saying basically to Alicia, to like her going, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about what you're saying, Dakota. Just like Teddy, right? Talk about reflections. And yet she's so ready to kind of give him a bit of a chance until she figures out what he's trying to do. On the other hand, she does this thing, and she does this throughout the episode a couple times here and there. She goes, but yeah, you're just like me. You know who needs to die. You know what it takes to get that thing. You know what it means when somebody just has to go. And the sad part is, it's fucking infuriating, right? You do the... But then on the other hand, once that feeling is over and you've watched the episode like 2 or 3 more times because it doesn't hit you immediately, you're kind of like, how do you know her? How do you know Alicia and that other Alicia that is probably still there? Because you do see a glimmer of her in this episode when it comes to Cole. She goes, and she doesn't want, the difference is that Alicia does not want to be that person. She does not want to be that person for many reasons. And yet she's made to be that person that has to make that choice to kill someone.
It was her or him. If she didn't kill Cole, Cole was going to kill her. Honestly, at that point, it wouldn't even matter who was on the other end of my gun. If it was my life or theirs,
100%.
Cole put her in that position, really.
I'm wondering now, because of what Dakota says, even when you have to kill someone, it takes a toll on you. And actually, what's funny about that is that I think Ian and Andrew make mention of this. It does take a toll on her. It does affect her when she has to pull the trigger on Cole. Someone you know so much, which is why it's so crazy that both Dakota and Teddy are working against her. They're like pushing her buttons. Dakota in like, yeah, you're just like me, right? You know why you need to kill in that moment. You know why you're doing this. Like, and obviously for Alicia, it's like, okay, this is the last resort self-defense. If he's going to kill me or anybody around me, I have to kill him. I have to kill him if he tries to kill Teddy, or I have to do my best not to kill him, but make sure, damn sure he doesn't kill somebody else. I mean, this is both Madison and Morgan, too. This is Morgan. This is a lot of Morgan, too. As frustrated as you are with Morgan, we want our baby Alicia to not kill because we know what happens when she goes down that path. Well, I don't know if you care about that. but you and me, Rach, right? It's like, we don't want her to suffer. We want her to maintain that sense of a line between what's, I guess, right and wrong, let's just say. We like it when sometimes the people we love adhere to some sort of right so that we can be right, because we associate ourselves with them. We like our heroes.
That's the difference between our good guys and our bad guys. We trust that our good guys are going to make the right decision, even if it means killing someone you used to know.
I was so excited to see him
I
again.
loved watching that episode with you because when you saw Cole, I think one of the first things you said was something about him and Strand like seeing each other getting better, something about him and
like near the
something about him and Strand,
yeah.
and I'm going, is it over? Shit.
It's so late.
Oh, shit.
Well, that's why I said, I was like, so it's not too late? So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah.
Like, do you know, Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah. But on the inside, I'm like, oh, God. Oh, he has no idea. I'm dead. What's coming.
I'm literally saying I'm dead inside. It's not happening. The decision was so smart to bring him back for me because I was invested in Cole and Strand at the time and like blah blah. So when they brought him back, I was just like, I care.
I know who Cole is.
See, this is the thing. I'm in my own bubble, and I haven't really gotten many reactions to this to know if everybody else felt the way I did. I'm like, holy shit, it's Cole. Do people remember Cole? Half the people that were commenting on Twitter were like, oh, yeah, I guess June is a lot like Carol, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, did you watch season 4 even? Like, we said that when we first saw her. Like, yeah. And then, she's her own person.
Yeah, Sharon and I watched the trailer. Cole was in the trailer for the next episode, and I'm like, really? Yeah.
What? Oh, yeah. They did it again?
Like, really?
Are you fucking... See, you saw me. I was completely surprised. Isn't that what you want? AMC. Yes. AMC. Isn't that what you want people to have? Say it louder, fans. Say I want to be surprised.
Surprise
That's
us.
Right.
We love the surprise
us. For goodness sake, people. And you know what else they did? And I noticed this on like fifth watch. They put Sebastian Sozi in the opening credits. Mistake. I missed it. I missed it the first 4 times, but they would have guessed. Cole?
Yeah.
Cole's back? Like, yeah, of course they would have guessed.
I did not notice. Sharon said she noticed.
I'm so glad I missed it. Yeah, and you're right, Sharon. He did look... Again, I think that was makeup because I did see some of the scenes from season 4. I kind of went back and I looked... I think that's makeup, and I think that's intentional. And I think another point I wanted to make, that Cole was a reflection for Alicia as well. Cole is acting a lot like Alicia, trying to go after Naomi Laura June. Just determined, like, we got to get what's ours. We want all of it. I got to kill all of them. This is like Alicia without the Madison influence, Alicia without the Morgan influence too. But yeah, going down the same road, being the same person, yet diverging in a wood. I love playing with that. And then having this mother-father figure of like Doug and Viv, and you saw them. You're like looking at them, they're like, they even spoke up at one point. Finally, they said, Cole, we got what we need. We can just go, man. They're begging to be like they were at the Diamond. Once they see Alicia's face again, they know that it's possible. The impossible is possible. And yet, Cole is like, this is why we're still standing. And had Morgan not stopped Alicia, she would have been like Cole. No doubt. No hesitation killing Mel. Like, no doubt in my mind.
Even though it got spoiled in the trailer, it was cool to see Cole back. I'm going to be totally honest. I didn't remember Doug and Viv. Still don't.
Viv did pull a gun on Madison.
Oh.
No.
Oh, okay.
On Naomi.
Like, I'm surprised I don't remember someone pulling a gun on Madison. That would make an impression on me, but no, not on Naomi.
Sharon, just like me, remembers that as Naomi was going to, I think it was the FEMA center, I think she's like, no, you can't. What are you doing?
Oh,
you're supposed to be safe in here. And I think Madison says, no, I'll go with her. And then Vic's like, yeah, I'll go with her too. Okay. Make sure she's not full of shit. Let's keep going though, because did you appreciate the fact that I said, oh yeah, they were staying at Motel Number 4, the other place
I said
that
the same
Derek...
thing.
It was on Derek's mural.
On my first watch.
Yeah.
Boom.
High five. Clues.
Right.
Clues and maps.
He said motel and I
maps.
went, number 4?
It's all coming together now.
Yeah.
I think they just assumed that everybody else had died from the herd. I just like the idea that they went looking for them too. We tried to look for survivors. Nobody was there. Again, reflection of these two people being basically the same, Alicia and Cole, which I can appreciate too. When Cole tells them to get on their knees, I noticed one small thing. And this is the stupidest again, I'm stupid. Before I say anything, I'm stupid. But maybe I'm not stupid, but I'm stupid. Well, the first thing you see is crisscross applesauce Teddy, right? Okay, get that out of the way. That was funny as fuck. Okay, with his little socks and sandals. Fine. But it was so distracting. I didn't notice how the others were sitting. So both Alicia and Dakota are on their knees. And Dakota has this really odd pose. In contrast to Alicia's pose, Alicia, representing her honesty, has her hands open in front of her as she's kneeling down, saying, this is what you get. I'm Alicia. Dakota has her hands behind her. And I thought that was poignant from a narrative perspective. And of course, crisscross applesauce, just, I'm a child walking through this universe. Nothing can touch me. I'm excited to die. Please shoot me. Riley will take care of business. Alicia will follow in suit and save everybody in the process. Dakota putting her hands behind her back. Again, you could take leaps with this evidence, or you can say you're stupid and you're reaching. But I thought it was kind of like, okay, with Dakota and Alicia both kind of on their knees and Dakota with her hands behind her back, it shows that Dakota's not showing all her cards. Dakota's not done being deceptive. Her hands aren't in front of her. Now, why wouldn't you show the person that's just about to kill you your hands? I'm not ready to show you who I really am. Dakota, narratively speaking, is not ready to show her deception for what it is. Dakota's on our side. I know what I sound like. I sound like Brian Castrillo talking, and that's why Madison's coming back. I know that's how I sound. I know that you're not going to do that work. So I have to see everything because I know there's a blind spot when it comes. I'm where you are, but I have to be everywhere now because I have to be all these other people looking at this show being like, well, maybe maybe this, maybe that. I don't know. I mean, you've come out with some really good insights this episode already, but sometimes I have to just, when it comes to Dakota, are we all ready to say all the theories?
Sharon is saying if they don't play Yellow Submarine next episode, I will be very disappointed. I agree. They have to change the lyrics.
In the background music,
but they,
right?
change it to a minor key, so it's creepy. Yeah. Oh, has somebody done it?
The Gallagher brothers did this thing for a while called major to minor or minor to major. So where they take a major song, turn it to minor, minor to major. They're very clever musicians.
Oh, very cool.
And now I'm going to have to link to that in the blog, obviously. Moving on to Sharon D's other comments, so she says, if you watch when Alicia's talking to Teddy after he tells her about the sub, you can see Dakota behind her picking up the gun. And she holds it behind her back until she pulls it on Alicia. This is why I feel like I may be reaching here, but we have to put it out there, because with these shows, specifically TWD Universe, they're designed to keep you on your toes, to keep you surprised. They're going to lead you down hardcore down this one path, and all of a sudden they'll be like, oh no, you weren't looking at all the signs. Because of course you're not. We didn't show them to you outright.
I guess that's why I'm not sold on the long con from Dakota, because that is what people would expect. She's talking about redemption, so she's gonna join Teddy and what? Yeah, I feel like it's too obvious. Eugene, Daniel, Strand, even Laura, Naomi to a certain extent.
It's something that I did say in the reaction video. I was like, oh, that sounds very familiar. I need to make up for it. She literally said what two other people in Althea's video said in the middle of the second half of season 5. It's like, I want to make up for it. Mm-hmm. I need to make up for it. It's two different people. And it's purposeful, right? It's supposed to make you think of season 5. Oh, wait, that sounds familiar. Oh, yeah, she's saying exactly what they were saying. So what makes her, of course, fuck Dakota. But but that's the thing. Of course, fuck Dakota. But wait, these guys feel like they have to make up for shit too. So in some senses, is she different from
she is, because
these
she
guys?
killed John.
It's supposed to confuse you. It's supposed to obfuscate exactly how you're supposed to feel. Look, it's working on me. It's not working on you. That's fine.
No, I'm pretty firm on my Dakota opinions.
But that's a problem, though.
What's that?
Don't you think? There's people like me that try to see through or try to find out where the narrative is going and try to appreciate what they do, or trying to appreciate what they're trying to accomplish by doing it this way. But then there's people like you whom I trust more, by the way. I trust a person that trusts their feelings, right? You go into it, you feel how you're going to feel, and that's the right thing. That's, no matter what anybody says, that's right. Because sometimes I walk into it like being technical. Oh, I like the way they did this shot, like especially in the prison cell.
So cool.
Oh my God. The angles in the prison cell, so good. The color, the choice of color, right? Sharon D actually put some of the cinematography shots on there. Look, Teddy looking down the corridor, face with the diminishing perspective, and the red in the background, and the white in the foreground, and it's just playing with the color and the way they did. Anyways, but going back to but this is the problem though, is the disconnect between somebody like me and somebody like you. Like, if I'm seeing something and I'm seeing something that I'm appreciating what they're trying to do with these characters, make us crazy, essentially. But you're seeing it and you're like, no, not crazy at all. This is a bitch. This is a bitch. She needs to die. But that's real. The question I guess I have to ask myself is, is this all intentional? Is this supposed to grab certain people a certain way in order to hijack their mind? Which they do sometimes, right? They tell you, look, I may say that Dakota is going to be this sleeper person, and then I could be totally wrong, but then you can totally be wrong too, though.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the beauty of being surprised, which is so great, is that you're leading two of these factions, these extremes in thought, down a certain path, only to be captured completely differently with a path you never saw before, because that's how it was designed. I'm hoping that's the case, because I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm so hoping you guys are wrong, because I think you want to be wrong in a way.
Elaborate.
It's kind of like you said. I don't want this shit to be complicated. I want this whole thing to have meant something. I want all of this pain to have meant something. So in that sense, I want your feelings at some point to be disrupted. Not wrong, but disrupted. And to be like, right, that feeling of like that come around where this is all coming to pay off at some point. Well, if we're talking about
Dakota specifically, I don't see that happening.
No, I'm talking about all of it. The whole season.
Sure. I mean, I like coming up with these theories, and then, maybe part of what I think is right, but then they totally change the rest of it. I love that. I get bored when I can predict a show from beginning to end, because they have this template that they follow, and it's like, okay, you watch 2 or 3 episodes and you're like, okay, now I know how these episodes go. The TWD universe is not like that. There's nothing to get used to. They just flip the script every time, and you never know what's coming.
Especially when you introduce other writers to kind of keep things fresh and to put a little spin on the visuals and all that stuff. But I think that's what I'm trying to say, is that I can almost predict that you'll say Dakota in the next episode. I can almost predict you'll say fuck Dakota next episode. But saying it over and over again is kind of we want to pay off for all the feelings that we're feeling. I'm worried that with the Dakota end of things, they're not going to do enough to satisfy or at least redirect you, like Morgan would probably in real life, if Morgan was real, into like channel that energy into something else, or to try to put closure on those feelings and be like, okay, I don't have to think about her anymore. Whether that means she's dead or not, whether that means she goes away or in some fashion, or stays around and does something huge enough to make it to where you don't hate her per se, but you're like right within the threshold of like, I don't like her still. I hate her maybe, but maybe not throw her off the show just yet. Like, you're like, because they do this. Like, you felt that way about Charlie for seasons. And then all of a sudden you're like...
Well, it wasn't until...
Maybe.
Okay, let's just... For a second here. The way I felt about Charlie is how I pictured what Dakota did. Once I saw what Dakota did and her actions afterwards and the way she's feeling all about it, honestly, that flipped Charlie in my head so quick. And I'm like, that is not Charlie at all. Like, Dakota is... reacting to what she did so different than Charlie.
Or her motivations to do so are so strange and so like alien to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, wrong. But like, even if we're trying to put ourselves in her head, alien. I just don't understand it. There's a kernel where you understand the desire to be free from a corrupt,
every teenager
awful
feels that way.
Society, right? Okay, I get that.
Every
I get
teenager.
that. Right.
Yes.
Universal.
Yes.
But then there's that like, what was so bad? What was it? I mean, they've given us evidence about what was so bad, but then, oh, that's her mother. Oh, but then it's hard for us to put ourselves, and this is a huge mistake. It's hard for us to put ourselves in Dakota's shoes. Not all of us come from that kind of environment. Not all of us grew up that way. I'd say even a small percentage of people know exactly what Dakota's feeling. I would love to find somebody who feels that viscerally about Dakota the way she feels right now, so they can be the bridge for me to understand her. But for us to not understand her is a mistake, or maybe a mistake. It could be intentional. That's what I'm trying to figure out how much they're trying to gamble right now on us somehow understanding or not understanding.
I don't look at Dakota like a real person. Dakota is a character. Someone wrote her actions, and that's how I feel about what I'm seeing.
But that's a bad thing, isn't it though?
No, that's why we watch it. She is a villain. I'm not gonna worry about her childhood growing up because I didn't see it. If it was important, the showrunners would show it to me. It's not, to me, it's not important because they didn't show us. So I'm not gonna factor that into how I feel about her.
I'm just concerned only because in this universe, this TW universe, even with Negan, even with Philip Blake, even with Alpha, to a certain extent, like they all had kernels of things with which we can get their point of view. Remember, we were talking about this at the beginning of the episode. We got why he did what he did to Spencer.
Yeah.
It was still a bad thing, but in that sense where we could identify with it, we're like, But it was a terrible thing. I'm watching, I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking vile. Also cool.
And I didn't really like Spencer. If it was like Olivia, I would have a different reaction.
And it was sort of not as gross.
And I had
I
had a bigger reaction to Olivia's death than I did Spencer's.
You did this thing. Right. With it, for the audio listens, I put my hands on my mouth.
For me, when you're watching a show, it's all about what you're doing and who you're doing it to.
And Sharon D's saying it, full stop. She killed John, full stop.
Negan killed Glenn. That's all I need to know.
And this is what's making me crazy, is because usually there's a little bit of a lead-in to say, even if she does something so vile and so horrible, there's supposed to be that little part of you that's like, that understands why she did it. It's hard. It's too hard. There's too little information because we live in the struggle. All the villains on the Walking Dead universe, all of them, to a specific degree, like whether it's just enough to, oh, I get it a lot. Like even the Vultures, I got the most. I'm like, I get that. I totally got their shtick. 100%. If they were somebody in the universe, I'd probably roll with them. Hipsters, collecting shit, all the shit.
Yeah.
Like to an obsessive compulsive degree. Yeah, that would be me in a nutshell.
We're not supposed to know too much about our villains because then they will be sympathetic and then they won't be villains anymore.
But then in the Walking Dead universe, that's how they work, not Dakota. That's what's killing me right now. And the struggle that I'm having is, and we can end it there, is that intentional? Or are they making a mistake by not giving us enough? That's what I'm worried about. Because there has to be a little bit of a struggle in the Walking Dead universe with some of these characters.
If they want me to sympathize with her, they need to give me a reason to. Because right now, I don't.
No, not sympathize. Again, it's not even about sympathy. It's about identifying. We can't even identify with her struggle.
We don't know what her struggle was.
Right.
Which makes me think that there wasn't one. That's my point. I think she's just a bratty little teenager who didn't get what she wanted.
Sharon says that Virginia was the multifaceted character. Yeah, and Dakota was sort of like the blank slate, which we got a little bit out of. And we can understand Dakota through Ginny a little bit, but not much. Not by much. Again, I'm concerned because this is either a writing mistake or it's completely intentional to blindside us later on about what she's going to do next.
Maybe.
I mean, I feel like I've said this about somebody else. Oh, like John. Oh my God, the irony. John is unlike anybody in the Walking Dead universe in that he just walked into it and didn't change. He just was the guy he was beforehand. Dakota is kind of the same way. She's unlike any villain on the Walking Dead universe where, first of all, it's a kid. Yes, we had like Ron Anderson, but he was just kind of like an obstacle that happened to be lethal.
He was just a mini dick.
Mini porch dick, right. However, Dakota, she's smart enough, clever enough, manipulative enough, observant enough. But again, we don't know anything else about her trauma. We can't identify with her mindset so much. To identify with it is to be either a complete sociopath or a genuinely, clinically schizophrenic. Because I'm looping it finally back to what I was bringing up originally, which was you see genuine concern in her face when it comes to the damn people not knowing which way is up and it concerning her. And then a second later, she's like, yeah, but you get the killing thing, right? You and me, yeah, we kill, right? Yeah, we're buddies, right?
Yeah.
I can't understand it. It's schizophrenic.
Even with Ron, we understood a little bit why he was a dick. That's more than we got from Dakota.
There were so many more conversations between Carl with which we can even sympathize with Ron. We were like, he's just scared, right? And he's scared because he doesn't know what to do. And they killed my dad.
And you stole my girlfriend.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
We all get that. But even if it's so stupid, we all identify with that. We get it. Somebody stole our girlfriend or we saw somebody else get their girlfriend stolen. You know, it sucks. And so we instantly feel like what he's feeling right there.
No.
Heck, we don't have that with Dakota. It's so alien to us. And again, just bringing it up because it's alien. We need to acknowledge that it's alien. And that is to either criticize the show.
They know what they're doing. I just don't see it yet.
Ultimately, feelings aside, observations aside, I agree with you. But sometimes when something makes us so tense, we have to talk about it. Because in the final analysis, when we find out, it was all worth something, you go back to that moment where we're like, I can appreciate what we were doing right there. How crazy this was making us in this moment.
Yeah. I feel like a crazy person watching this show. I really do.
And this is why I say this episode gave us, it did give us a little bit more on Dakota. A little bit more. And it wasn't the kind of good kind, too. But that's okay. Something is better than nothing. We see reflections of Dakota and Teddy and Dakota. Both children. Like, Teddy is almost more laudable reasons, like you said. It's like, oh, he just wants to make the world a better place. Dakota, you're not really sure. Dakota is like more like individualism. It's all about liberty and like, look, if you want to take libertarianism to its bad degree, you're like, oh, she's just a libertarian. She's like, get out of my way. I want my freedom. Well, Dakota, so here you go, sociopath.
That would be so awesome, Sharon. I am also totally cool with an embalmed Dakota.
No, I don't like that.
Well, no. Just think about it from a viewer point of view first. Stop thinking she's a real person for just a second. Just how cool would it be to see Zoe Colletti in that kind of makeup, like all embalmed and like, it would just be cool to see her like that.
I want to latch onto that a little bit, okay? Because it's different. It's different when you don't know who it is, right? It's like Teddy / Cole. When you know somebody, it's hard. If it was somebody I hated so much with the disgust of 1,000 Suns, I mean, sure, it'd be kind of cool. Oh, rightful end to the thing. My feelings are so fucked up about Dakota that like, but then what was it for? Like, what? Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to know the answer. I want to know why. I want to know why she is this way, and then maybe I'll feel good about it.
I don't know if we're gonna get those answers. I had a lot of questions still about Virginia that we're not gonna get.
Oh man, yeah. I feel like we answered them with our special, aka episode 135. I don't need any more.
Well, I mean,
I'm kidding.
I'd like to know who Dakota's dad is.
Oh, Riley. Right?
I want to know. I want to really know.
Oh my God.
I have theories.
Charity.
Dadison.
Charity's hashtag Dadison.
Dadison.
Well, why are you assuming it's a mother? Why are you assuming it's a father? It could be a mother. It could be Madison. Oh my God,
no,
Ginny and Madison.
It really can't, though.
Well, then
biology doesn't work that way, guys.
Then John Dory's more awful than we thought he was. Gross. We don't want to think that about Father Dory.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because
I
the
just-
original
I had a
theory,
lot of-
right?
Yeah, I still had a lot of questions about Virginia that I know we're never going to get answers to. So I am preparing myself that Dakota's going to leave the show with just as many unanswered questions.
Isn't that like
Frustrating? Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes,
it's not the
frustrating.
good kind. It's not like this is what the show does. No,
I'll
no.
get over it, though.
Yeah, of course you will. You will, but you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to. That's my problem. That's when I'll get mad, and not at Dakota. I'll get mad at the show. It doesn't make sense. You did such a good job building this narrative.
I trust them to show us what matters. So if it's not
Okay,
there, it
that's a
doesn't
good
matter.
point. Okay, I'll go with that.
We could talk about Dakota all night. Is there anything else in this episode we need to cover?
Just like Dakota, Cole advocates to kill Teddy. They're heading up to Mabel's.
To Alicia.
Sorry, yeah, to Alicia, right? When they're going up to Mabel's repair shop, whatever it's called.
Parts
whatever.
place or whatever, yeah.
Parts, yeah. Which I love the sign. It said, Mabel's parts. We got everything but Mabel. Did you read that? It's fucking funny as hell.
I didn't make out the last word. That's funny. I read, we got everything but
Mabel.
something. Mabel. Yeah. That's funny.
Isn't that crazy? That is such a tongue-in-cheek, like, oh, it's Mabel's shop, but, Mabel died a long time ago. That's all.
Yeah.
Just like Dakota, Cole, in the beginning, she says, let's just kill Teddy. Now, Dakota is obviously the person we're supposed to hate. And Cole is obviously the person we're supposed to, trust. He was part of the diamond. We didn't know he was going to be duplicitous. I did in the beginning. He was like, dude, you're asking way too many questions and it makes freaking me out. Okay, so anyway, moving on. But I operate under the sincerity the show presents the character, right? Now, if we can't trust Cole, who was supposed to be trusted, does that mean we're supposed to just trust Dakota now? That's the thing.
No.
We're presenting two people who ultimately say, kill Teddy. Oh, he's old, but we can take him. And then Cole's like saying, dude, come on, come with us. We'll keep you safe, fed. We'll do this, we'll do that. You know me from the diamond, kill Teddy. They're both saying the same thing. You could see the differences in the way she reacts to this advice. Well, shut the fuck up. I don't trust you. There's no we in this equation, blah, blah, blah. And then to Cole, she's like, we need to know what's going on. But still, same question, different way to answer. Obviously, whatever. We find out later on that Cole is a dickbag. And yes, we see Dakota pull a shotgun on Alicia, but now I'm wondering, again, they both have shotguns for some reason. For some reason, they both have shotguns. One looks like a toy, the other one looks like serious business. All I'm saying is, it's worth noting, writing it down, and moving on. Right? It's just like, because what was I saying in the beginning? Parallels. People doing the same things in different situations. Two people that we assume is one thing, but is really another. The end is the beginning. Patterns repeat. Oh, okay. No, I want to read. That's fucking funny. So yeah. Sharon says Mabel is an acronym for Mothers Always Bring Extra Love. Is that, she says, according to Mad About You, mothers always bring extra love. Oh, so another thing about mothers. That may be a tongue-in-cheek reference, but then she follows up by saying #TotGun.
Totgun.
Because Dakota's toy shotgun. Man, it's I can't even describe how funny that is to me right now. Oh, it's a tot gun. It's like, oh, little kid. Okay, I said here, and you can disagree with me. I hope you do. Dakota is a lot more like Strand than we thought. She wants to win in saving Alicia, even if it means making her look worse. Strand struck John when he was about to do the wrong thing for the right reason, trying to save Janice. Dakota will not let Alicia sacrifice her life like Madison. She almost did in the holding. Dakota will break the loop, in spite of Alicia. This is what I was saying at the end was, when you get so mad and you want somebody to be wrong even though they're right. Like, yes, Alicia gonna be Alicia. She's gonna do heroic things, even though that's exactly what Teddy wants. But fuck Teddy. Maybe I'll destroy the fucking world and keep destroying people after you've destroyed the world. No, that's not how it's gonna work. Dakota is gonna take over. Dakota's gonna do something that makes what Teddy wants out of Alicia impossible. And to that end, I actually saw somebody write, and I can't remember who this was. I might go back and do the research, but somebody said it might come to the point where they kill Alicia off the show. And that would make sense because that would ruin Teddy's plan. It makes me sad to think that, but then I think this was Dalton Ross, by the way, of...
I'm trying hard not to get really pissed off right now.
Right. Me too, because I'm like, oh, after all of this, really? Dalton Ross?
Pissed.
From Entertainment, I think it is. But he's like, yeah, if they had the balls to actually do that right now, they'd be like, okay, I wouldn't like it, but I get it. I get why they would do that, just to spite Teddy.
No, I'm not on board with sacrificing a character like Alicia for this character. I'm sorry, I love John Glover. He's done amazing things as an actor, but Teddy, we just met Teddy. No, It's not, we're not,
Well,
we
not
can't
for Teddy,
sacrifice.
but to make him wrong.
No, I'm saying like as a show, like we can't sacrifice Alicia for this character. Like, to move his story forward. No.
Oh,
no.
No. It's not to move his story forward, but to end his story is to kill Alicia, is what he's saying.
Yeah, not worth it. It's not worth losing
Oh,
Alicia.
no, I agree with you. I'm just saying, this is what we have to do. We have to throw it all out there because there is a sort of interesting logic. If we're talking about patterns not repeating, well, then how do we break Alicia out of this loop that Teddy has ingeniously put her in? I'm going to keep her in here until I do what needs to get done. I die. Somebody of my group will unlock the door and Alicia do what Alicia do, which is exactly what I want her to do. I want her to do good things. I want her to lead people into greatness. And there's a part of me that's like, fuck you, dude. First of all, I'm going to try to stop your damn plan. I don't know how I'm going to do that from in the cell. I don't want to have this information and not be able to save people. And then at the end, do what you wanted me to do to begin with, you know? Like, even if that sort of thing happens, and that's what I have to do anyway, there's a party that's like, and I was too weak or too slow to stop it. I had all the info, and then he got me. It makes every good thing you try to do right afterwards sour. Like, even though you're going to do it anyway because that's what you're supposed to do, it sucks. You have to live with that for the rest of your life. And which is, okay, what Sharondy says is that she becomes the villain, maybe as a result of this. I don't think so. I don't know.
I mean, that would be
the way to prove Teddy wrong.
That would be the opposite of what Teddy wants, is for her to become a serial killer.
All right, and that's what I basically said would be the response to fuck you, Teddy, right? Like, I'm not going to do what you tell me, and here's why. And bam, 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 I'm going to kill first of all, I'm going to kill all your people, because fuck them. They followed you.
Teddy also might just be saying all of this to get under her skin, too. No matter what she does, he's going to be like, oh yeah, that's what I wanted. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then that's going to piss her off, right? Wouldn't it piss you off? Whether he means it or not, though.
At the bare minimum, he wants her to hate it. He wants her to hate him, period. Mm-hmm. He wants her to hate everything he stands for in order to be the hero. Mm-hmm. Which is not what which is not what Alicia wants. She doesn't need that. She just wants people to be safe and happy and have a place, have hope for the future. Oh, wait, that's exactly what he wants? Oh, right.
Shit.
She doesn't want to be the hero. She doesn't want to be called the hero, just like John. That's the whole point. And yet, she might be, unless Dakota somehow breaks this loop. Somehow. I'm not saying she will. I'm just saying I don't know, there's a reason why I say this. There's a reason why I say this. I'm going to say this out loud and finally tie this all together. I had this crazy thought last night. Listen, we all had this, Dakota's a psychopath in the back of our minds, right? Throughout the whole first half of the season. Just like we thought Morgan was a big badass, and now in the second half he's kind of like, eh. But when we finally get to damage on, well, he seems to be suffering a lot more in this half. We get it.
Agreed. Yes.
Yeah. But, Morgan can't do wrong. Okay, now Morgan feels like everything he does is wrong, and it sucks. When I get to damage on the inside, I feel like that's when things kind of take a turning point, right? And it was interesting that was the mid-season finale for our times. Mm-hmm. In that, we get to Ed Gain's place. We have an episode with Charlie and Dakota. Now, obviously, they're not the same thing. They are both children who did shitty things, but their motivations were different. Mm-hmm. But they're both in the same episode. Alicia's in the middle. Ed Gain's in the middle, representing almost like the Madison of like, I tried to do this and I'm just trying to do it again. I have to save my family again. But in you, I have to save my family. But just before that, Dakota's with Ed Gain, and they're talking about the Queen's Gambit. And I had this really crazy, crazy thought that John is the white pawn that is sacrificed in the Queen's Gambit in order for that strategy to work. And that fucking blew my mind. And now I'm wondering, in light of that conversation, now it could be just a narrative thing that they dropped to give us like a breadcrumb into how the season is going to happen. Like, okay, we needed to sacrifice John in order to have this Queen's Gambit where things kind of work out all the way at the end. I don't know how that's going to happen. I'm just saying it makes that scene with Dakota and Ed Gain at the chessboard talking about these moves and how they would play chess, and Queen's Gambit is my favorite move, Dakota says, I think it was. Then I wonder if she becomes that white pawn that does the sacrifice so that they can ultimately win the game. Now, the sacrifice is obviously, they call it the Queen's Gambit because it's the pawn, I think it's the D4 on the Queen's side of the board. So, I mean, it's either John or it's Dakota. And I think that's a hint of what's going to happen again, I'm trying to pick up these breadcrumbs to narratively figure out what they're trying to do here. And if they somehow line it up just right, even if I don't know what's coming, which I hope I don't, right? Like you said, we want to be surprised. Yep. But when I go back and look at that Queen's Gambit, I'm like, oh my God, they were trying to tell us the whole time, even though that we would never guess. Mm-hmm. But how everything kind of just ties into something else, and it's so great. It's so awesome. But I want you guys to keep that in the back of your mind. When, as 2 episodes left, keep the Queen's Gambit in your mind. Keep Jon in your mind. Keep Dakota in your mind about that being her favorite move and all that stuff. I hope it means something. I hope this is a chess move. But it got me to thinking a little bit something else, is that I feel like, just like you said, I trust the writers at the end to give us the payoff. I feel like the writers sacrificed Jon as the pawn. This is why I said Jon is probably most likely the pawn. Because they put you in a situation. You are black. You are the antagonist in this chessboard of a game. They sacrificed Jon to say, fuck you. You either, because the Queen's Gambit is, it puts the black opponent, right? Because that's the white opponent that does it.
Right.
Because they have a second move. It puts the opponent in either chasing down, falling for the bait and then having to deal with those moves afterwards, or to not fall for the bait and then also deal with those moves afterwards. Both are bad choices. But here's the thing. This is basically you and me right now, Rachel and David right now, Dave having these complicated feelings, you having these very simple feelings, and it's playing out in real life. They pulled the Queen's Gambit, and we are both responses to this problem. Do you understand what's happening here?
Yeah, that's
How
crazy.
fucking genius is that?
I think
no.
I think we always knew
Even
they were
Charity saying
geniuses.
hashtag Jon is the pawn.
Jon is the pawn.
Oh, and she's saying brilliance. I was hoping, this is what I was trying to say to you last. I don't know if it was today or last night when I was thinking
today.
this. I was saying, I want to blow Sharondy's fucking mind. My mission is to blow fucking Sharondy's mind right now.
Actually, what he said was, my mission is to impress Sharon D.
It's true. I still want to blow your fucking brains.
What he said.
Yeah. But I still like what you said before, that feel the hate flow through you, Jedi.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you. She said brilliance. We didn't say that out loud.
Brilliance.
Mission accomplished. Thank you.
Definitely one of those things that you go back and you catch. Like I was saying, when we go back and we binge this season, the Queen's Gambit is going to be one of those things that sticks out the second time we watch it through.
And how it was not a throwaway.
Nothing is on this show. Like, we've come to realize, like, there are no accidents. Everything happens for a reason.
The farm in Temple, Texas.
Yep.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I want to extend an apology, but a bear with me kind of thing to all of you who had to sit through all of this, because all of this Dakota talk was leading to this piece of information. I had to kind of build it out, draw it out, so that I could finally plop this one bit at the end to tie it all together, because there is a symbolism in the Queen's Gambit in that it's either Jon or it's Dakota or it's both. They were both caught in this pattern and one of them broke it out, and Jon wasn't going to be the one to do it. I mean, as a result of him dying, we discovered a lot of truths that we didn't want to see.
Could we throw Ginny into that mix too? I mean, she died shortly after. Maybe.
By the way, that's not to say, and I just want to address what Sharon D's comment, I still hate her. Sorry. No, you're supposed to. That's the whole point. You're supposed to hate her. You're supposed to, and you're probably supposed to fall for the Queen's Gambit. That's the thing of the Queen's Gambit, is that most people, when they didn't see it at first or don't know of it, they just fell for it. Like, the pawn opened the door to the Queen. I gotta go after it. No. There's a set of moves that are supposed to. So you're falling. This is what I'm afraid of. That's why I'm still in this complicated corner. But they're gonna get me too. I know it. So the Queen's Gambit works either way. I'm not that smart, people. And I'm not supposed to be that smart. They have all the cards. They know the answers. They know how this is going to end up. Again, I wanted to say I'm sorry for leading you down this garden path. I'm sorry to be very, very technical and tell you why these breadcrumbs matter. But it was just to lead to this point. We can move on now, and hopefully there's enough to talk about afterwards. I'm sorry.
Why is she still here? Give me a point to this character, because I don't see her point.
Even if it means going full Camus.
Yeah.
Go full Camus. Go full evil.
Do it. But do something. Has had no point at all since she killed Jon.
That is the only thing I can identify with, though. Being adrift, not knowing which parent to emulate. Yeah. I get that. Even if you're like Alicia, I don't care if you're sincere.
Yeah.
I don't care. There is no I in we. There's no... Nope. I'm not in your we. That's whatever you want to do, you do, boo-boo. Yep. I'm not involved. I'm not going to kill you. It's obvious she's not going to kill her. Right. It's obvious. Like, not like Teddy, which is funny because they're acting a lot alike, but she's a kid. But there's supposed to be a point in that, right? Like, there's supposed to be a point in that she is just a kid. Maybe she can change. I'm not me. It's not me. It's Alicia.
It's not
Cole
me.
cannot change. Cole cannot change. He's gone too far. I've given him so many chances. Well, you made my choice easy, she says to him before bam, bam. Like, and again, she waits till he raises the rifle yay high. Mm-hmm. to the almost the point of no return, and then she ends him.
She waits to make sure it really is coming down to her life or his. Like, she didn't just kill because, oh, she thought he might. No, like you said, she waited until he started to raise the barrel of the gun. Then she shot. Like,
right,
dude, if you would have just kept your gun down, you'd still be alive. She
yeah,
wouldn't have
it's
killed
not enough
you.
to say wait.
Yeah.
And that's the ugly thing about what he does, is that he assumes that he's just like, that she is just like her mother, that's how she's been living this whole time. He don't know shit about what she's done. That's it. And that's his mistake. That's fucking ballsy, because he thinks, oh, she's not like every other person I've encountered on the road. He thinks, oh, she's still privileged inside that fucking diamond, wherever she is now with Luciana and whatever. Oh, she lost a brother. Oh, who cares? She's still that weak ass pussy shit that from the diamond that, you know, we got run over. She didn't learn. Oh, I'm going to take her out. And I'm going to find this fucking end as the beginning place. Yeah. Big mistake.
Yeah.
You're marveling over me saying pussy ass shit and getting away with it. That's right. You can't cancel me. I own this shit.
No, I was kind of laughing to myself about Cole and like, tell me where this place is. Like, what? When has that ever worked? Ever? That's never worked for anybody. Like, tell me where it is. Then he's like, I'll split your head open for the information. Like, dude, that's not how brains work. It's not a filing cabinet.
You know, it's kind of, you know what, let's talk about his last, like, that I can get. You're so mad you say stupid things, right?
Sure.
But like, even when you get to the end, everybody around him is dead, and he's playing this one gamble that she is so in her mother's asshole that she's not going to do the thing that's required. There's a little bit of a Morgan reflection in that. Like, you know, are you strong enough to kill somebody that you know?
Madison has no problem killing people she knows.
Oh, I said Morgan.
Yeah, right.
I said Morgan, you know, like the philosophy of not killing.
Right, but like,
oh yeah, but like
Alicia being like Madison can kill people she knows. We've seen her do it.
But Cole doesn't know that. Cole just knows peaceful Madison. That's all he knows, right? This is his mistake. He's making such a gamble on the fact that, yeah, oh, she's just like her daughter. Like, all his friends are dead. You think you're gonna get away from this moment? First of all, if you kill Alicia, you got 2 other people you have to kill too. You better be quick. Mm-hmm. But then I was thinking to myself, okay, stop harping on this shit, Dave. Okay, he's going to take whatever chance he's got left at this point. Because that's where he is in life. Mm-hmm. He could have, like you said, he could have just put that shit down and they still would have given him a chance. And yet it makes Alicia that much more right, that he was too far gone because he still went after her. Mm-hmm. He still chose poorly. So yeah, I'm just looking for more reasons for her to be right about killing, because I feel bad for Alicia that she had to do that.
Yeah,
I do. It's
too.
been a long time.
I feel bad she had to do it, but Cole really gave her no choice. If she didn't kill him, she would be dead. So she absolutely did the right thing. But you see immediately how that is sitting with her. It not well. And Dakota comes up, oh, it's not as hard as you think, huh? Fuck you.
Oddly enough, out of all the other ones, even like, oh, I had to do it, like, okay, I can understand that in a way. But this one, it's like, you don't see that her hand was shaking when she was holding the gun against Cole, like, right. Feeling that, because again, I feel for Cole too, even though he turned out to be kind of a dick. But I get that dickness. I understand. That sounded weird, but I get that. You and me both get that.
Yeah.
We had the luxury of seeing, I don't know about luxury, I don't know, but of seeing Rick break bad. Mm-hmm. He and the group finding this rough spot just before Alexandria, and then having to deal with having to do so many shitty things or hard things to make them rough people. So that when they finally go to Alexandria, they're like, huh?
Literally,
like,
yeah.
You know, like cavemen, like fucking caveman Rick.
Yep.
Unga bunga, like they had to take care of his face. I'm just saying, like, we've seen what desperate people have to feel like they have to do in order to survive. Oh, all the way to the point of like season 8 with Rick in the bar saying a man's as good as his word, and then
killing
fucking
everyone.
Lying about it. Oh. That's what I'm saying. I mean, this is really for those people. To see Cole be this way, you almost don't blame Cole for it. You don't blame Cole for it at all. Like, you know, this is something you've said to me. And this is exactly what I wanted to talk about next. You said this to me. This is the Queen's Gambit. Because if we're to believe what you say sometimes about, like, sometimes you just have to kill them until they're dead. Because that's how it works. Well, then Teddy's right. And then you need to be eliminated. We need to start over, right? Or you take Alicia's path of, like, no one's gone till they're gone.
Yeah.
and you like Alicia, right?
Yeah.
This is the hard part, is that like you can recognize that you understand when somebody turns into a Cole, right? But you like Alicia, and so you'll try this no one's gone till they're gone thing. You're like, okay, Alicia, I'm on board. You can be the hero. It's like, I don't want to be the hero, but you are. Sorry. Like, and you will swallow the no one's gone till they're gone thing because it suits Alicia. Like, it helps Alicia, I think. Because to go the other way would mean a very dark path. Would mean that she would have turned to Cole. She said she died so you could have a chance. You were supposed to make it mean something. And then Teddy says something so funny. I just wanted to mention this on the side. Alicia, I know you don't want to get rid of your mother, but like in between that, I know you don't want to get rid of your mother, but meaning you got to kill this motherfucker. This no one's gone till they're gone shit is it's pointless. But he doesn't want her to listen to her. He wants her to keep her mother. He wants her to be the mother. Mm-hmm. I just like that, like he's just trying to get her to do exactly, because he knows she loathes him. I love it.
He's had a lot of years to practice his charisma. He knows how to read people too. He can say just the right thing, you know? And in Alicia's case, it's not telling her what she wants to hear. That's not going to work with a person like Alicia. Works for someone like Dakota, not a person like Alicia.
Well, maybe. You never know. I mean, if I was Dakota, I'd probably fall for a hook, line, and sinker.
If I wasn't Dakota, if I was just me, I'd probably fall for it. Let's be honest.
So Dakota doubly so, right?
Yeah, exactly. A teenager who's trying to fit in. All of a sudden, this guy's giving her all this attention, saying, "Yeah, killing is right.
A father's love.
Some people just gotta go. You did the right thing. Don't be afraid to say the truth."
Pointedly, Sharondy says, Dakota. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm saying here, but I feel like I was trying to be very profound. Okay, some of the things we'll repeat, but we'll see. Okay, damage from the inside, : I have to read everything literally. Queen's Gambit. John is the White Pawn's sacrifice the show is making in order to introduce a logical challenge to the audience. Do we have to kill them before they kill us? Over and over again. So this is what I was basically saying before. Or do we break the pattern and find another way? If the former, then you are shitting on John's grave. Ooh. So if you have to kill over and over again, John's proclamation about the ground being soaked with blood is falling on deaf ears.
Yeah, no more killing.
Okay. But if the latter, you might find yourself dead, like John.
True.
Okay. This is the logical place that the show is putting you in, like forcing you into a situation where you have no good choice and there's no good feelings, and it's almost as if you're to blame for having them, right? Like, it's not our fault. We put you in the situation where you would have to confront these two feelings, these two specific feelings. TWD watchers will sometimes rattle off saying, you got to toughen up, you pussy. And then like the other comment would be like, well, there has to be something for the future. Both of these things can be criticized, but both of these things can be right. Also, Dakota herself might be the White Pawn breaking the loop, which is the second pawn. Can't believe this. Okay. In all fairness, John said that before a little shit shot him. I think I said that right?
Brat.
Or a little brat shot him. Well, little shit is more accurate.
Yeah, definitely more accurate.
Sharon says, isn't that what I said about Game of Thrones, Rachel? You have to choose. You have to choose. Yeah. But that's clever, though. The fact that they're putting us in this corner, though, it's very fuck you. Like, can you stop putting me in moral quandaries?
Yeah.
But I commend them for that. Because it's kind of like this. If you've made it this far, after all the fucking shit you guys gave us for 4 and 5, fuck you. I'm putting you in timeout. See how you like being criticized? Well, here are the choices, bitches. What do you choose? Oh, no, that's wrong. No, that's wrong too. How genius is that? It's like, fuck the audience. It's literally fuck the audience. It's fuck the audience. Yep. And I'm here for it. It's like beer bottle balloon, right? Fuck the audience. You're going to take it.
Yeah. I was telling Sharon, like, how as of season 6, like, how do you convince someone to watch the show? If no one has ever seen Fear and you're like, oh, you got to watch this show, it's so great. But just, hold on for season 6. Like, don't give up on it. Like you have to prepare people now for this.
Yeah, but I no hesitation though. I don't hesitate. Whenever I recommend Fear the Walking Dead on the whole, I say, look, 1 through 3 is them finding out who they want to be. Because I genuinely think.
But don't get attached to anyone.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I'm reading up on Alicia Clark, on her as a person, and she wasn't even going to be called Alicia Clark. Like, she was going to be called Ashley Bennett, which, by the way, sounds pretty cool, right? Yeah. All the way up until, right?
And why is that.
They changed a couple things later.
Wait. Were they all going to be Bennett's or just Alicia's character?
Just that part of the family. Even Madison wasn't even going to be called Madison. My point is, I don't think they even knew exactly the kind of show that they were going to be until the first 6 episodes were done, and they were like, no, I think we know what we want to be. First of all, not at all like TWE at the time. We want them to find their own conclusion, to the same conclusion that TWD does, only so it's kind of like a figure 8, okay? Fear the Walking Dead goes in one direction. The Walking Dead goes into another. They ultimately meet in season 4 when they're forced to confront certain truths. Scarcity, fuel is a commodity, food is a source. People are dying. There's nobody out here. And then they cross and go in different directions. Fear goes into more of a narrative about hope. The impossible is possible. We decide how things are going to be. It doesn't have to be all about killing. We can stop at some point and redirect, right? 4 and 5 is like that at some point. Even though they have to face some really tough challenges. Like Martha, as shitty as a villain as she was, I'll even admit it. It was a tough challenge. You're facing off against somebody that will not stop. Her thing is, if you are not strong enough, you will die because I will make you dead. So you go to TWD and it's all about misery, porn, like torture porn. There has to be something after. Slice throat, put him in jail. And then they're kind of coming back to the end of the figure 8. They're both coming to the same conclusions, but they're getting there in different ways. I think that's kind of cool.
So Ashley Bennett, you said, was Alicia's character. Ashley Barrett is Colby Minifie's character on The Boys. So it's very close.
So funny.
Very close, yeah.
Ooh. Oh, okay, that's why she said Colby's.
Yeah.
Character. She was trying to correct the spelling for the last thing.
That's kind of funny though. So they've had the last name Bennett in the
pocket.
They've got that in their back pocket for a while.
Etymology of the name Bennett. The meaning is blessed.
Cool.
Oh, okay. I saw something stupid. They get to the Franklin Hotel, the Ender's new gig, and first things first, the jumpsuits have always been this kind of blue color, right? And you see them in this episode, whatever. But they always had like brown on them. The weird moment that we had with the guy in the elevator, the kid, where he was also playing checkers in the next cut, right? Mm-hmm. He was wearing a brown cap, a brown vest, and a bunch of brown attire underneath that blue jumpsuit, I think, or something like that. But either way, you saw was browns, right?
Yeah.
Here, all of that is in blue. And then I look to the left, this other guy is all in blue. The blue cap, not a brown cap. Like, everything is blue. What the fuck are they trying to tell us?
All the blue everywhere.
Okay. Yes, I recommend Firefly, Sharon D. So she says brown coats, Firefly, yeah. Holla. She also says mother knows best, except for, Lori, Madison, June, Virginia, and Michonne. Maybe Alpha.
And probably Carol.
Basically, all mothers.
Go and put Carol on that list, too.
Carol on that list. Sure, Carol. Who else? Who else is a mother? Right.
Jesse.
Jesse Anderson. Yeah, sure.
Tess.
Anyone
Wait,
else?
no, Tess. Tess is the one that does know best. Tess is the mother of the apocalypse.
Honestly,
that's who Teddy should have got. Is Tess.
She'll find a way to disappoint us. Don't worry. No, mothers can't win, according to Robert Kirkman, basically. Oh, Rachel, you're a mother? Okay.
Oh, well.
Case in point.
Rachel.
Oh, Grace. Don't put Grace on.
She's
it's
a mother.
Not her fault. Although it kind of is. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. It's not her fault. It's not her fault.
Well, it's only her fault because of where she worked. Not like she did anything intentional.
No, she had the sexy and then things started to go bad.
Yeah.
Or actually, I think according to her, things started to go bad. They had the sexy because, fuck it, right?
Because why not?
No place like the present, right? I fucked up and didn't do shit all this time. And now, Apocalypse is a perfect chance to be the kind of person you want to be.
Yep.
So we got the clothing out of the way. That was stupid. Whatever. I wanted to mention it because it just was very distinct. If you watch the end of the episodes, like, they're all in blue and the blue caps are a little excessive.
They were like in uniform, yeah. It was definitely a feeling of unison, a team.
That's a really good way of putting it. Everything's coming together. People are embracing their group identity.
Yep.
They're ready for the end.
I'm going to be Chris.
You got a bone to pick?
I do. I can't say I've ever done this, so I don't know for sure, but I don't think a ballpoint pen would go through someone's skull.
It would probably break.
Yeah. Plastic's going to break against bone. So that first kill Teddy put down, bullshit.
Oh, in the prison cell.
Yeah, when he kills.
It was right in the top of the skull,
Hayes,
right?
It was like I would have bought it like in the ear, maybe even like the temple, even. Yeah, but it was like here, like straight through the thick part of the skull. Even if he had stabbed him in the eye, that would have worked. Up the nose, in the ear. There's so many holes in this general region.
in the face head.
But it went right through the skull
my
in
God.
this general vicinity, and I'm like, really?
There's a crazy irony in that too, because the first episode, or not the first episode, I don't know if it was the first one, but I think it might have been the second one. Madison took so long to kill the principal because he had just turned with the fire extinguisher. Because, you just die, you still have the same bone density.
Right. He hadn't rotted at all. This was a fresh turn.
He's not the only sinner. We refuse to bring up all the other times where we see that shit happen with recently turned walkers, at least.
Recently turned, yes.
I'm not saying that I know off the bat who those are right now. I don't have time for this shit. You want to call us out? Watch all the other Squawking Dead episodes. Then thumbs up. Yeah. Remember to thumbs up, okay? And then comment if you feel like you found it, and then come back to us and say, I did this, this, and that. And I'll be like, good job. Yeah. Oh, did you find where I called out Grace Mukherjee in the last? No, you don't want the merch?
No.
Okay, fine. Okay. Should we do another merch challenge that nobody will do? bless Cindy J. I gotta call her out now, but bless her heart, she really looked.
Yeah,
Cindy J. I'll put her name in the blog, but like she really tried, and she said it must be in some sort of unedited episode or something like that, because
I don't think it happened.
I know it did. I know it did.
I don't think that it did. I don't think that it happened.
Are you saying I'm a liar and I made people do something for no reason?
I would never call you a liar, but you may be misinformed.
You're being honest according to you, Dave.
Yeah, I think you really believe you said it. I
do believe I said it.
I really don't think you did.
I don't know if I want to back down on this one.
I will. You did. I'm sure you brought up the initials.
Something like that.
I'm sure you brought up the initials because we did see MU on the dosimeter.
Right?
Yeah, I'm positive you brought that up. But to say the full name, I don't think you did.
I feel like I blurted something out. I don't know if that was it, but I don't know. Oh, okay. You'll appreciate this one. Cole says to Alicia, I thought you died in the fire too. Mm-hmm. Meaning. Mm-hmm. Because Madison's dead. She's dead. She's so dead.
Cole saw her burn up.
Burn up to a crisp cold. Cole saw it firsthand and said, oh, I'll find Alicia for her sake because I know Madison's dead. Alicia still might be alive out there somewhere. High five.
Thank you, Cole. Thank you, Cole.
Confirmed. Theory confirmed. Brian Castillo, you can eat my shit.
Oh, don't be mean to Brian.
I'm kidding.
Don't you be mean to Brian.
The sad part is I'm just like Brian. I'm literally just like Brian. I want Madison to come back.
Really?
I literally want Madison. I do.
Why?
I just want it. I want all the pieces to line up properly.
No.
I want it to line up properly.
No. We're going into overtime for this shit. No. Do you know what would happen if she came back?
Yeah, Alicia would be dead.
No, I don't even mean the show. I don't even mean the show.
Madison breaks the
fandom.
Loop.
No, I'm not even talking about the show. Like, I don't even care what would happen on the show. In real life, do you know what would happen in real life? The fandom, the internet.
The same thing that would happen with Daryl and Carol, right?
Yes.
Because if they were to get what they want, now what, right?
Yes.
This is what we find ourselves saying.
No, it can't happen because of the fandom. Yeah.
She did, though, Charity says.
I don't want Madison to come back at this point because it will be a never-ending parade of I told you so. You will never see me on social media again. It won't happen because I will not live through that.
Vigo the Carpathian says in Ghostbuster 2, and I will rule over a river of blood. And for us, it'll be like, they will rule over a river of jizz. Jizz over Madison. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with fucking Daryl and Carol. A river of jizz. Yes. They will rule over a river of jizz over being right over Madison.
Yes.
And Carol, Caryl.
Yep.
Do you see what she's saying?
Virginia the Carpathian.
Yeah. But before that, she said, I sharded that today. And you know that's in her autocorrect list. So that's...
Pretty sure it was shared.
I I know what she was trying to say, but then I'm imagining Vigo going, "I will rule over a river of blood," and I sharded today in that river, just to make matters worse.
I sharded today. Oh my gosh.
The only other thing that I have that is of any significance whatsoever is, did you look up what morning glories look like? I'm going to start by saying morning glories are native to Central and South America, but they made their way up to the Southwest. They look an awful lot like bluebonnets.
Oh.
I like that. There's a little, this is for the real fans, because they don't really say this outright. They don't show a picture of morning glories. And when he refers to his mother, we have to kind of tie that in. When he killed his mother, he just like waited to be found out, because he felt bad. He didn't want to kill his mom. He was just a fit of rage. He was like, I didn't want to believe that I couldn't get my mother's love anymore. But then spring turned into fall, fall to winter, and then back to spring again. And the most beautiful crop of morning glories sprung out of her body. And I knew, which is what I researched too. She says they grow here too. They're a common garden problem. Yeah, many people call these morning glories kind of like the weeds of beautiful looking weeds. Their seeds are toxic, but also hallucinogenic too. But they, in terms of like crop fitness, they will sometimes, they're very resilient, often called the weed flower of the garden patch. You know, so they have to kind of really manage them, because they can overgrow, they can take over where most flowers and other plants would normally grow. So they will overshadow them, take their resources, and grow over them. So yeah. Oh yeah, we'll see. Yeah, you know. Oh, okay. I was trying to make sense of what she was saying, because they do look kind of like bluebonnets in terms of color, at least. They're different, but they're, you know. Yeah, so she's confirming what I was saying. They're vines and will choke other plants off. Yeah. I mean, they're beautiful as fuck, but like, and so some people will refuse to put them in their gardens because they will fuck them up. Yeah, vines, right. They're so resilient, which kind of says a lot about that cult following. They're convincing. They're meant to survive. I did note the comb, the blue comb, and the blue socks, obviously, and the blue toothbrush bristles too. Did you notice that as well in Teddy's cell?
I didn't notice the bristles were blue.
The bristles were deep blue also, just like his socks, just like the comb in his cell. I don't know what it means. It's the same color as the jumpsuits as well.
Blue has been all over the place for this show,
including Walter's jumpsuit, because I just stumbled upon this Redditor who said, hey, Walter is part of the sub crew. We knew this.
Yes, Sharon did bring up Walter and Riley theory, that Walter and Riley worked together on the sub, and once Walter realized what Teddy's plan was, he took the key and hijacked it. I don't know if I'm convinced that Riley was a part of the subgroup. I do think a good chunk of those people were from the submarine, but I'm not so sure that Riley was. He doesn't look like an officer to me. He doesn't hold himself like a soldier would.
First of all, I'm showing you a picture on the screen right now of Walter in this Reddit picture, right? I called the file, Sharon would be proud, Walter Subiewski. So it's Polish, right? So Walter's also kind of a Polish origin. And the beans on his face, you know, obviously he was very hungry. We got that out of the way. And look, it has his uniform name. This is sub, and here's the key, right? Just to contrast, the actor's name is Damon Carney. Okay, we thought this was Raleigh, right? Mm-hmm. Get ready for this. Meet Damon Carney in real life, right? Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Wait. It gets better. See, I call this file Damon Carney hot. So now Damon Carney hotter. Now this is closer to his real age, but he somehow he looks even hotter than that. I want you to blow your load now. Bam! He just looks even better, right?
How many years were between those two pictures?
I don't know. Okay. Probably 10.
I was gonna say,
it just didn't age well.
I was gonna say, why does he look like his own dad right now?
Right,
Not in a bad way.
Is it possible that he looks hotter?
That is so strange. Like, his jaw looks totally different.
To be fair to you, this picture is a little, you know, the contrast makes it a little washed out. Mm-hmm. This one's a full-on face view, like, so it's a face-on.
Frontal.
This one has a little bit of a profile to it. Mm-hmm. So there's the shading, and the light is on the other side, and it's not head on. You would probably see it the same way. Mm-hmm. Compare that to, look at Walter Subiewski right now. Doesn't he look totally not like the hot guy we just saw?
That man right there is not the pictures you just showed me.
He touched me in the no place.
That's anyway, not the same man.
I'm glad we brought that up, because then I could show these pictures on the screen as we premiere this episode, and then put them in the blog and be like, yeah, same person. But it gets to a bigger point. Wait, This will be the last point, okay? Aside from the fact that Damon Carney is a hot human being. Hot dad. Oh, yeah. He has the key on him. We see Emil take the key. But wait, you need 2 keys, right? To actually do the nuclear weapons, right? What did we establish that Alicia has 2 of?
The St. Christopher medallions.
Parallelism. One is for defense. They're both for defense if you look at it in an angle, right? You had the nuclear missile defense, if everybody has them, then we all keep each other in check. Fine, I get that. But, the St. Christopher medallion was supposed to be the protection for the weary traveler, to bear heavy burdens, for you to persist, to take what you have and endure. Nuclear weapons, 2 keys, those necklaces, in the right hands, they're meant to keep everybody in check. In the wrong hands, though, they are death incarnate.
Unless they watch our show, I don't think anyone else that watches Fear the Walking Dead is aware that Alicia has 2 medallions. They only see the one.
So this is funny because we're talking about keys, we're talking about medallions, but Sharon brought up rings, and I wanted to bring up one more thing. There's one more parallel when it comes to rings. She's wrong about the rings. There's actually 3 rings because Dwight has the engagement and the 2 wedding bands, right? So there's 3, which was why on the banner, we make it look like a CRM logo because it kind of tongue in cheek a little bit. Yeah. But technically there are 4 rings if you wanted to count the candy wrapper ring. So, okay. But here's the thing. There's a little parallel here when it comes to Dwight and Sherry, though. I'm glad she brought that up. Because what were we talking about when we were talking about Dwight and Sherry? Dwight is chasing Sherry, which is like the sun chasing the moon, which is like the Ouroboros. This is another I'm going to impress Sharon D fact. Okay, ready? When we look at Alicia and Teddy in this episode, Teddy is just like egging her on, and Alicia's running away. And he wants her to run away. Unlike Dwight and Sherry. This is like this weird dark mirror parallel. Well, they're doing the same thing, but for the different reasons. Like John, doing the wrong thing for the right reasons. Or, the other John, and then the other John. Same John. And anyway, parallels, right? Okay, but it's the same thing. Night chases day. Now, day is running away from night. Or night is running away from day. One or the other. Not towards it, but away from it. And he's like, yeah, I want you to. And they're both running away in opposite directions, thinking that's what she wants. No, it's exactly what he wants. He wants her to run away. It's weird, right? But then I got to thinking, holy shit. Remember The Art of Peace? What is the logo in front of The Art of Peace? The book. You have it, right? Take a look at it. This is like the magic trick, right? I'm like the best magician ever. What's the logo on the front? The Ouroboros. The snake that eats itself. But why?
It's a smudgy circle.
it's the Ouroboros. It's the snake that eats itself.
Well, doesn't look like a snake.
Well, I looked it up. I wanted to be sure about this fact. This is exactly what I wrote. Okay. Teddy wants her to hate him and everything he stands for, the Ouroboros. Only instead of night chasing day, night is running away from day. And just like his mother did, everything he hated everything he stood for because he idolized her. Egotistic narcissism. And this is basically me telling myself, remember to bring up egotistic narcissism and the image you put up, of what you think you are versus what you actually are. This is what I'm wondering is that, we are seeing these patterns of day chasing night chasing day, night running away from day, and wanting that to be the case. Of course, what does the Art of Peace come from? Morgan broke Alicia's loop a long time ago because of Nick, and then stopped Alicia from murdering Naomi. Who's going to be breaking that loop the second time around? Or is this one of those things where nobody's around to break the loop for Alicia, and something has to happen as a result, and the patterns are going to repeat? This part gets me excited, because it is taking something from the past, like Morgan's past, and bringing it into the future. From Dwight and Sherry's past, the infinity symbol, but it's really the Ouroboros, which is the same thing as night chasing day. Okay. And here with Teddy, there's a little bit more night chasing day, but we need to break that loop. We need to somehow get Alicia out of this loop that Teddy exactly wants. Who is going to be the one to do it? I'm not saying it's Dakota. I'm saying it could be Dakota. And it seems like if we're talking about the Queen's Gambit, maybe it is Dakota. I don't know. I'm not comfortable, but it could be one of those things where just like Morgan happened to be in the right place at the right time to see the wrong thing that happened to Nick in order to fix it with Alicia, maybe the one who's supposed to break everything out of the loop is Charlie.
I'm cool with that.
Because something I said to Brian, Brian, we still didn't get Brian Castrillo. Mm-hmm. We still didn't get that episode with Charlie that Alexa Nicholson talked about. She has a really good scene that is basically the favorite one she's ever filmed. Mm-hmm. And so I'm thinking, what if that's it? What if all this time we were looking at Dakota's like, oh my God, is she going to be the one to break the loop? Is she going to be the one to save the king? No, Charlie's going to be the one to save the day.
Yeah, by killing Dakota.
Well, by saving Alicia, because
by
Alicia took
Dakota.
a chance on her.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She saves Alicia by killing Dakota.
I guess maybe we can all get what we want. And with that, everybody, thank you for joining us on this another special. Hopefully you love this. You got some mind explosions from this episode of Squawking Dead. If you like what you heard, head over to ratethispodcast.com/squawkingdead and give us 5 stars and an eggplant to let us know that you love us. And do it after every single episode. It really, really helps us. Comments, hates, things we missed. Obviously there were. Please tell us what we missed. It helps us every single time. Listen, listening is good. Listening is great. That's all we really need. But when you rate us, it gives us relevance. Like Cindy J, who rated us earlier on this week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Cindy.
You're like literally the best. I mentioned you twice.
Yeah.
Twice in this episode. So thank you. Austria can't only be the winners. Italy just came out with the numbers. Yeah, we're in the top 200. So what?
Whoop,
So
whoop.
listen. Let's bring back America. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Let's bring back, or at least Canada. And if you really, really like us, head over to ko-fi.com/squawkingdead and just follow us. When you do, you'll know when we record. You'll know when the unedited episodes drop. You'll also know when we play Jackbox games. Because, yeah, you could join us on stream, on camera, and audio, or audio, whatever, if you don't want to show your face. But you can at least hear you laugh as we laugh. We can hear you laugh as you're about to say something so funny and inappropriate. Be a part of the contribution, the answers that make us laugh so hard. Please make sure that you like this stream or this podcast wherever you're hearing or watching it. We really appreciate you joining us week after week and making this podcast what it is. So thank you. And hey, we'll see you at the camp. Well, we will have already seen you at the camp. So
it was
we
great
love
seeing
meeting
you at the camp.
Unless it wasn't, in which case, go fuck yourself.
yeah.
I never want to see you again.
That one person that pissed me off, I'm not talking to you anymore.
Yeah. Or only one.
I imagine
Man.
just one.
I'm a dreamer. Take it easy, everybody. Take care. Have a good night. Love you.